All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Good Morning Xbox on the Iconic Video Games channel. I am your host, Axel1324.
I'm CoolcatTerri.
And I'm Dreadpool. Weekend at Dreadpool's.
Weekend at Dreadpool. Weekend at Bernie's, Weekend at Dreadpool. Shout out to Dreadpool. Let's check in with the chat. Shout out to Doggy Dog. Good morning, Doggy Dog. How are you? You are the real MVP. Thank you so much for joining us. And yay, go Steelers, yay.
Yay, Steelers, yay.
Your Wicked Hot joins us this morning. Good morning, your Wicked Hot. He says, good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday. Can't wait for the show. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP. Lost Boomer joins us. He says, good morning, all. Good morning, Lost Boomer. You are the real MVP. Thank you so much for joining us. And, yeah. Doggy Dog. Good morning, Axel. Going to be looking good in that black and gold, bro. Yeah. A bit's a bit. So we'll go through it. Let's see. And Dan, the man, Cunningham, joins us. Shout out to Dan. Thank you so much for joining us. You're the real MVP. He says, hey, all. How's everybody doing today? We're doing good. Appreciate you. So, guys, another week has gone by. Terry, what have you been playing this week?
I'm trying to remember. I did a little bit. I was trying to have more of a chill week. So I was doing some Call the Wild Angler. I was fishing with some friends. Just fishing. We were just having some fun. And
did some fishing.
Yeah, we didn't do anything too crazy this week. I kind of just wanted to just chill and not have to think about stuff. So wind down.
Hey, why not?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
So she did some fishing. What about you there? Weekend at Dreadpools. What did you do this weekend? Or what games did you play this week?
I was playing Fear 2 and just shooting at everything and freaking out about Alma coming at me.
About who coming at you?
Alma.
Who's Alma?
You'll have to play to find out.
I guess so. I don't know. Sounds scary. All right. So this week I have been playing a lot of hold on. I'm trying to get rid of something. There we go. I've been playing a lot of Moss on my Quest VR. I'm really digging the game. It's this cute little mouse game. It's a puzzle platformer. It's okay. The fighting gets more intense as it goes on, as you got to both move your character around to fight and interact with the bad guys because you can stun them. So it gets pretty chaotic. You're over there kind of doing one of these while also controlling the mouse. It's multitask to the max. So yeah, it's a fun little game on my Quest, and so yeah, and of course I continue to get ready for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Just continuing my playthrough of Final Fantasy VII Remake. So yeah, there we go. And then on my Xbox, I'm just chilling. I'm trying to think of what's the next game I'm going to start, but I want to finish Moss first. So let's see. Sith Lord joins us. Shout out to Sith Lord. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP. He says, Dreadpool looking good with those shades.
Thanks, Sith Lord.
I can't get over the moving of the beard.
Okay, that's time to be serious.
All right, let's see. Doggy Dog, Axel, Terry, Dreadpool, and Spartan 27. Hey, what's going on, Sir X-Men? Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP. And did it grow on you? Are you talking about Moss? Moss? Yeah, I like it. I guess. I don't know what you're talking about there, Lost Boomer. I need more context. Sorry. But guys, let's get the show started here. Hopefully everybody had a fantastic beginning of the year. Last time we were here, it was New Year's Eve. Hopefully everybody's sobered up. Everybody's got their good drinks now, alcohol free, and ringing in the new year. So let's get started with the news. So up first on the news, we got a press release from Mantic Games, partnering with 343 Industries to bring the Halo universe to tabletops. So, launching directly to retail in September of 2024, Halo fans can eagerly look forward to Amazing Spartan miniatures that bring Halo multiplayer battles to life in an expertly crafted team combat game experience for tabletop newcomers and veterans alike. So, quote, we are thrilled to team up with Mantic Games to bring a new tabletop game to the fans in 2024, said John Friend, head of Halo and Xbox consumer products. Mantic is a leader in tabletop gaming, and the quality and experience shows through their work, in all their work. I'm most excited in this case about their passion for the Halo franchise and for bringing Halo gameplay to the tabletop gaming community in an incredibly authentic way. And then Mantic goes, we are excited to be partnered with 343 Industries on bringing Halo tabletops to tabletops everywhere, said Ronnie Renton, CEO and founder of Mantic Games. Having a firefight play out on the table while moving Spartans in and out of cover connects players to the action in a new and special way. We have a thrilling and competitive game from passionate team, talented sculptors, artists, designers who have been building an incredible Halo experience. Mantic and 343 Industries will be pulling back the curtain soon on this exciting new addition to the Halo universe. Halo and miniature gaming fans around the world can expect their first preview of the game in March of 2024. And that is the announcement. So Halo is getting a miniature tabletop fighting game, a la, maybe not as defined as Warhammer, but a little quick, some firefight stuff going on. Terry, are you gonna make some room on your tabletop for some Halo miniatures?
Nope. I'm not a fan of like tabletop games. However, if I do like in the past, I have collected like the miniatures just to paint them and collect them. I've never played the games themselves. Like I used to do Skaven from Warhammer, but yeah. So I mean, even if you don't play the games, if you're a fan of Halo, this is the opportunity to just collect the miniatures, and have a collection too. You don't have to play the game, so have fun. but yeah, no, it's not for me. I don't do tabletop.
Don't do tabletop. No, graphics suck.
I don't do tabletop.
Imagination. What the hell is that?
No, it takes too long to do anything. You're constantly arguing with people about stupid stuff.
All right, Terry is not a tabletop friend. Dreadpool, Halo miniature tabletop firefight game coming from Mantic. Are you gonna buy some of these miniatures and play some firefights?
I probably more than likely won't, but I'll try it out. I'll see what happens. I think anything that expands the game's lore, even if it is as a tabletop setup, anything that expands the legacy of Halo, I think is good. So when you do stuff like that with IP and explore other directions, other media, it's always good. Even the movie, Master Cheeks,
Yeah,
whatever, But again, it brings the notoriety of who Master Chief is. Same thing with the Halo franchise. Everything that's going on there. You look at Fortnite, Master Chief's there, so it's like, oh, he's got his own game. Yeah, well, idiots don't know, and this is how they find out sometimes that there's other things out there that these cool items come from. I don't know, Ozzy and Post Malone.
Yeah.
If that rings a bell. But that, again, that's the thing is to be inclusive in all formats. So, if you want to play and you have other friends that do this and you can bring them into Halo, maybe you bring them into the franchise somehow, same thing, vice versa. You're into Halo and these people are into tabletop games, and you can transition into being a tabletop player also and find out that you enjoy it. You might not be your preference, but you might enjoy it too. It's a different way to hang out with friends that doesn't involve debauchery, or it could involve debauchery if you play it the right way.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think it's a good thing. I'll try it out.
It is good. It is good. If these figurines come out and they're like cheap plastic, I probably will not buy them. But if they're like the ceramic or glass, Figures, man, I am gonna buy them, and I'm not gonna play the tabletop part of it. I just want the figurines. If they come pre-painted, even better, because I kind of don't want to buy a bunch of paints and butcher these guys. I'm not that good at painting, you know.
This guy's dead. Oh, this guy's dead too.
What is that Spartan? Oh, he's green. What are his other colors on his Spartan outfit? No, that's just it, just green. You know, like they'll all be one color if I have to paint them. So hopefully they come pre-painted. Hopefully they're ceramic, and hopefully that's everything that happens there.
Yeah, I was gonna say he sees everything in green and white. Don't worry about it. It's his night vision.
It's his night vision. There we go. It's a night battle. But as far as having friends to play this with and stuff, I can't imagine finding friends to play this with. As my nerd friends, we play Tabletop Simulator on Steam because we're all so far away from each other. So to find local friends, to invite them to my house, to make a mess of my house and dirty my cups and drink my stuff, yeah, no.
Or just go to like your local tabletop place.
Yeah. All that ever
Everybody
runs there
has
is
those
Yu-Gi-Oh!
around,
And Pokemon.
you know?
I've been there.
You've been there.
I wanted to see some Warhammer.
Find a better one.
Not
Find a
happening.
better one, man.
See, I've got it easy. I just go to Nerdy Wed's house. They live down the road from me. So, and they're big time board game fans, and that's what we did at New Year's.
That does sound good.
Yeah, so you just got to find the right people. If you can't do it, I'm sure they'll adapt it to online, so you can do the online version of it.
Somebody will bring it onto the Tabletop Simulator. Yeah. Everything comes to Tabletop Simulator, so I am probably going to play this on Tabletop Simulator. But if the figurines are high quality, I'm definitely going to get them. Like, I've never seen any Mantic figurines. Let me see, what else do they have? Let's see, Mantic Companion, Mantic Vault, Dead Zone, Firefight, Kings of War, Armada, Something Dungeon, Terrain Crate, Hellboy. So they got quite a few names under them. I might have to check out some of the figurines. I'll have to go to the figurine store and take a look and see any of them. You know, they used to be made out of cast iron, and then they went over to ceramic, and now they're plastic. And again, I just really hope that they're made out of ceramic. Some people still make them out of ceramic. I just feel like they have some weight instead of just these lightweight plastics, you know?
So yeah, I used to have a lot of metal ones for my skating. There was a mixture between metal and plastic.
Yeah, the metal ones are my favorite too. But you'd be hard pressed to find a metal figurine nowadays. A new one, not a collectible one, a new one. So yeah, let's see. Let's check in with the chat. We have General Spartan joining us. Shout out to General Spartan. Thank you so much for joining us. You're the real MVP. He says, Dreadpool, yo. We got HTK360 coming in. Shout out to HTK360. He says, howdy. What's going on, HTK? Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP. Let's see. Boom, boom, kaboom. Noof Dukem is in the room. Shout out to Noof. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP. Appreciate you being here, buddy. Back from the Dead comes in. He says, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Back from the Dead. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP. And let's see. Let's see. Noof says he wants the Halo board game. Didn't they already make that? I thought they already made that. I know that they made Halo Risk and Halo Monopoly. But I don't know about...
I mean, everything has a Monopoly these days.
Halo Risk to me was the best one, so yeah. But I don't know if they have Halo the board game. That'd be something. Let's see. My imaginary friends are great, but geez, they're slow on taking turns. Yeah. And isn't that Spartan Lock Axel? Says nope, I only paint green. Yeah.
Dude, Noob should have all of his, personalities play.
Oh my God, that'd be so funny if he did a tabletop game with like
tabletop with Handy Andy and Cletus and all of them. He just played as them and going.
What's his name? Something Sam. What's his name?
Safe House Sam.
That's right. Safe House Sam.
There you go.
Oh my God, that'd be so funny if he did all the voices playing each one a different Halo figurine.
Tabletop
yeah.
There you go.
There you go. You're welcome for the content idea, Noof. That's right. Let's see. Shout out to Eternal Shaddai. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP. Says, good morning, everyone. Nice to see this panel. Also, Dreadpool. Also, Axel, Dreadpool, and Terry. Yeah. Good morning. How are you? How are you? All right. So that takes care of that topic. We did that as a quick little, refresher for everybody to hopefully let people know that while they come in. Guys, now that you're here, we really appreciate if you guys would hit that like button. It really helps us get discovered, especially in the gaming section of YouTube, the live gaming section. It helps us get recommended more. So we would really appreciate it. Okay. So let's go to some news. So I don't know if you guys know, but after 34 years, the game of Tetris has finally been beat.
I didn't know it even had an ending. I just thought it was just what it was.
Well, let's take a look at it. Now, this comes to us by Dexerto? Dexerto.com. A kid by the name, a 13-year-old named Blue Scuti breaks Tetris, effectively beating the game. Let's see. So, Tetris player Blue Scuti has gotten the first ever kill screen, effectively becoming the first person to beat the classic game.
Now he's got to do the Game Boy version.
Yeah. So we're going to skip all this stuff. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So his name is Willis Gibson, a.k.a. Blue Scuti, and he is only 13 years old, but he's been playing Tetris professionally for some time now. He has a YouTube channel that consists of NES Tetris speedruns. So we're talking the NES Tetris. I wonder which version. Is he talking the, what you know that, there's two versions of Tetris on the NES. I forget which ones are it. There's one that's super expensive though. So
wait, does he do the rolling thing? He probably does the rolling thing, right? So they have a technique. So the people who are that are really big in the Tetris on the NES, because the way the controller was, is they would put their fingers on it and they would like rest it against their leg, so that way they would just push down on like the controller, so that way they can get faster button presses.
Yeah, he wears a glove to do this. It's something like when you're wearing a glove to play a game, you know, you're you're up there, you know.
It's a lot of blisters.
Yeah, that is a blisters. Okay, so Tangent, there we go. If it's the Tangent cart, which is the expensive cart, or the regular cart. So I'm kind of curious to find out if it's the Tangent Tetris or regular Tetris. Probably the regular one, as it's more readily available. Anyways, his latest video is genuinely gaming history, though. Blue Scuti actually beats Tetris by causing the game to crash under specific conditions. Speaking with the Classic Tetris YouTube channel, Scuti explained he was motivated to take on this challenge after nearly beating another player's world record. I got the world record the same day that Fractal started his game crash grind. In that world record, I was only about 18 lines off, and I just thought, if I'm that close, I might as well race him for it and try to beat him to the crash. So this is a race between him and Fractal, who is another world record holder. So what you do is you get to the kill screen, which is something of an outdated idea today. You know, classic games weren't meant to be beat. They were just meant for high scores. So the kill screen occurs when the game goes on for too long and runs out of memory, leading the game to a crash. These kill screens have become the de facto endpoints for many speedruns and high score competitions, as seen in documentaries like The King of Kong. For NES Tetris, that includes hitting a very specific set of conditions, including clearing a single line rather than multiple lines. You can see Blue Scuti deal with this in his video as he gets wrong line clear at one point, failing to crash the game's memory and triggering the kill screen. This doesn't take away from the victory, though. So far as anyone can tell, this is the first time a Tetris kill screen has been seen, let alone documented, having been performed by a human player. So the kill screen has been reached by Greg Cannon's 2021 run, having made use of programs or even AI in order to assist with playing a quote-unquote perfect game. So this is the first time a non-AI kill screen has come up in the game of Tetris. So, hold on, let me mute that. So here he is. This is his channel. And this is actually the game. So I mean, he's already level 4A, level 96. I never made it to level 20. So
Yeah, I'm terrible at
so
this
this
game.
guy is good. Like he is the real deal. He is the real MVP of Tetris right now. And I mean, you can see he's not setting up Tetrinos. He's just clearing as many lines as possible, playing the way I play. But just much, much faster and much better. I mean, look at this. One rotation and he knows where things go, or no rotation at all. So this kid he's good. He's good. All right. So while we watch his historic speed run, Terry, history was made in the game of Tetris. Your thoughts on that? And also, what is the highest level you've ever reached?
First of
On the
all,
original.
I don't know what the highest level I ever reached was, but I know it wasn't very high. Let me tell you, I'm terrible at Tetris. I just don't have the patience for it. But this is impressive. And to have like a 13-year-old playing like the NES version, that's impressive.
And so get those classic consoles out, kids.
I think that's pretty cool. Congratulations. I didn't even know this game could be technically beaten. So that's something that, pretty crazy just to think about. Because like I didn't know you could even win at Tetris. I just thought it was just like an endless game. Went on forever. So very cool. I don't really know what else to say, really, outside of Tetris it holds the record, though, of having the most iterations out of any other video game ever in existence.
Oh man. Okay. Yeah, that's cool.
Because they keep releasing new variations of Tetris. So technically it's probably the longest ongoing game ever made. It's just no one ever gives it credit, But yeah, it's pretty impressive. So kudos to this kid.
Yeah, kudos to him. Wow.
That's awesome.
Awesome to him. So yeah, what is your favorite variation of Tetris? Like, if not the original, do you have a favorite one?
Not really.
Not really?
I never really liked Tetris too much.
Really?
There were
like your bread and butter, Terry.
No, no. I mean, I like other like little like puzzle games that kind of gotten inspired by Tetris, but I've never really gotten into Tetris itself. It's it's just it wasn't for me. But for people who can play it, it's impressive because I suck at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, compared to this, yeah, I suck.
I would have had this thing full by now.
Yeah.
He's already gone longer than
I'll tell you what, I would have gone into the kill screen right away, but instead of me beating Tetris would have beat me.
Yep.
A long time ago. Like, he's level 108. Yeah, about 100 levels ago. So, yeah,
what was it? God. Was it man, I can't remember. There was one on the phone. Like, was it Blitz?
Mm-hmm.
Blitz. I don't know. I think that was probably the last one I played.
Tetris Blitz was on the phone. Yeah. Dreadpool Tetris. First off, congratulations to Scotty, of course. But did you? What was the highest level of Tetris that you got to, and did you play the original on the Nintendo?
I played the original on Nintendo. The highest level I've gotten so far is 51 or 50, and I'm going to be 51. Oh, wait, you mean Tetris?
Yes, Tetris, not personal level.
I'd say it was about 35 or so. I lost count somewhere around there. I know 35 was like the highest, but I've gone higher. But that was it, and that was when I was younger. I could never do that again. I played it a lot. But yeah, congrats to this kid. And technically, this, if you think about it, you cannot beat Tetris. These games you can never beat. It's just considered a win because you killed the program. The program just locked up, and it's just you forced the glitch to happen. So, in doing so, it's still a tremendous feat to do something like this. So yeah, many props to this kid. And it's funny how, this ain't no life goal. This is just a goal. It's a friendly competition between himself and another person that realized that they're neck and neck with getting to this. So why not, set a goal for yourself and accomplish it. And that's something that we need to see more often. A lot of people just don't do that. They don't have goals anymore. They just, yeah, whatever with life, blame somebody else for my faults.
That's right.
That, this kid said, you know what, I'm close. I set a goal and he accomplished it. So again, kudos to him. It's good to see people do that.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, this is impressive. I mean, just watching the gameplay of this is mind-boggling. So the goal is, I guess, is to get these numbers so high and everything else so high that the game just runs out of memory to store your stats and crashes. So that is apparently the goal of this. And to get these numbers as high as possible, you want to clear as many lines as possible, because it also counts the lines right here. So you just want to get these numbers up as much as you need. So look, he is up to 1,145 lines. I mean, that is a lot of lines. So yeah, I think the highest level I ever got to, but never got past, was level 20. And I think that's as high as I ever gotten. I've never been able to get past it, as it just gets insane. And so yeah, I mean, that's it. And of course, I love Tetris. Who doesn't love Tetris? All the variants of Tetris, love all of that. But this being video games, guys, it doesn't come without some controversy. Let me see if I can make this happen here. So
Can you just skip to the end where he beat it? I just want to quickly see his reaction when he did it.
Let me go to it.
Let's just watch him celebrate his victory real quick.
Oh shoot! I don't know what just happened. Oh, it's an
ad.
All right, let's get rid of that. Here we go.
Oh my god.
Put lines in.
Right. Because I want to hear his reaction too. So right. Here we go.
Oh my god!
Hyperventilating. Get it?
Oh my god! Yes! Oh my god!
The best thing is he can prove it.
Oh my god!
Look at him. He doesn't even know how to react.
I'm gonna pass out.
I'm gonna pass out.
Oh my god! I can't feel.
Dang. What's it feel like, guys, knowing that this 13-year-old kid is better at Tetris than you?
How do you know? Because people who aren't familiar, how do you know that this is the game ending versus the game just freezing? Because the NES
That is the
froze.
game ending.
The
That-
NES
still
is
beeping?
notorious for just random freezes.
Oh my god.
It's beeping. And here comes the mom. She checks in on him here in a while.
I can't feel my hands.
I can't feel my hands. Jeez, this guy.
He
Like, he
hyperventilated.
is,
That's why.
he's going into shock. Calm yourself down, buddy. Calm yourself down. But yeah, what an exciting moment for him. Congratulations for him. And now he has to do it again. People are going to want him to do it again.
I can't feel my hands.
Now that it's been proven it can be done by a human,
Oh
people
my
are going to
God.
want him to do it again. And who knows if he can.
When the other thing is, they're probably going to want to see if he can expand on those lines too, and get it still lock up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, he knew he was close to freezing it,
Yeah.
but he made a mistake and he's like, oh my God, just freeze already. So yeah, there you go. That's his reaction. Shout out to him. Congratulations.
Oh, I'm shaking so bad.
I was getting so mad
Ah.
because it wouldn't freeze. Let's go where I want to go to the part where his mom walks in.
Oh,
Here she is.
yeah. Okay, I'm
Okay.
gonna go tell my parents.
Stacy's mom's got it. What?
Hi, Mom. Where is it? Oh,
The best part about the mom is she's wearing a Donkey Kong sweater. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Yeah.
you can see I crashed the game. So, so,
High five.
uh,
Nice.
High
Yes.
five. Good
Oh,
night.
everyone.
There you go. So,
That's cool. All right.
oh my god.
shout out to him. But of course, it wouldn't be video games if there wasn't some sort of ridiculous controversy. Let's get to the controversy. So first off, shout out to him. Let me check it with the chat before I do anything. Let's see. So yeah, Dog A was the 10 gen version. Yeah. Tetris by 10 gen is the expensive one. That's right. If you got it, you got some money. And Silk Slayer, shout out to Silk Slayer. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP. He says, good morning. And congratulations to young Blue Scuti for beating NES Tetris. Absolutely. Congratulations to him. He made history for sure. Shout out to Happy Glad Gamer. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP. He says, hello, I'm on the bus, so I will join the chat later. Hey, you know what? We're just happy you're lurking. Thank you so much for lurking. Let's see.
Share it out to the
I'll
rest
give
of
this
the-
kid his flowers for breaking the record. Yeah. When I played Tetris, the only colors I saw were the light green and dark green on my OG Game Boy. Yeah.
Yeah.
That one, there wasn't enough batteries for me to cause a crash on that game. Let's see. Six Layer says, pro tip, this worked on Game Boy Tetris. Whichever piece you move around more, you get more of. That's why you rarely get to the 4-block piece. You're usually waiting on one, and you know where to put it. Oh, okay. So you just got to move it around. I did not know that. I didn't play Tetris. I played Blockout. Okay. I never even heard of the game. Anybody? No?
I've heard of it.
I've heard of it. I'm trying to picture it. I know it.
I've heard of it, but yeah, I can't remember what it was.
Yeah. Put me on the spot like that.
I can't think of it.
Hold on. Let me black out.
He said block out, not blackout. And shout out to the King. Thanks so much for joining us, the King. He says, good morning, everybody. Good morning, the King. Appreciate you being here.
Blackout, was that the one that had like the pills that had like the pill shaped ones?
That's what I was thinking. Was with the bar on the pills up top or the boxes up top?
Yeah.
I thought that was it called Blackout? Huh.
No, that was
now
Breakout.
Breakout. I was going to say that one is Breakout. Yeah.
All right, then I don't remember.
Shout out to Six Slayer. He says, I played one of that name, 3D Tetris from from top down view. Right? 3D Tetris was on the Nintendo 64.
What's that new one that came out
and you
with?
Played it on a globe? Yeah. Did he do this on PC and keyboard because another controller can't handle the rotation button click reliably? There's a trick to it, apparently.
It's if when you hold it a certain way, and usually they hold it like this, and with the tapping, what happens is you tap it, and it bounces down onto your leg, causing you to double tap.
Mm-hmm.
So you can actually tap faster than you can tap like this. They're
pushing on the controller.
Yeah, they're pushing on the controller, but they're tapping on it, which causes the bounce back to tap the button faster again. So it's basically allowing you to double tap with a single tap. So
you have to look it up. I think they call it rolling or something.
It's called rolling. Yeah, it's called rolling. But yeah, that is the only way to do it, from what I hear. And from what I hear, they're always pushing a button. Like they're never not pushing a button.
Yeah, they're pushing a button, but it's hitting a controller and hitting back. But it's hard to explain. It's like you hit. It's like a double hit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like that. This is a single movement, but it's a double hit, and because it's doing that, the phone or the controller is moving down, hitting your leg and bouncing back up, which is causing another registration. So it's hard to explain, but you got to watch the videos on this.
Yeah, it's a technique. You definitely got to practice.
It's a very specific technique. They hold it like this, and they kind of sit sideways, holding it over their knee, getting it to bounce off their leg muscle.
So there you go. Let's see. I'm going to skip this comment for a minute here. Boogeyman comes in. Shout out to Boogeyman. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP. We appreciate you. Pills is Dr. Mario. Yeah, that's right. Remake Station 5 joins us. Shout out to Remake Station 5. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP. He says, ever play the multiplayer Tetris on SNES? Played a ton of that in college. Was a cutthroat game. Yeah, was with Dr. Mario. Classic. I've never played multiplayer Tetris on the NES. I played Tetris 99 on the Switch. That was fun. Never got close to winning, but I played it. Yeah. Let's see. And Sappho, it was Tetris, but 3D. Yeah. It was like I think I know which one you're talking about. I think it was called Tetris 64. Maybe it was called Tetris 3D. I don't remember. But General Spartan says the news lady who criticized this kid, I have several words for her that would be censored on TV. Well, speaking of which, let's go ahead and watch what he's talking about. So this is Sky News. I forgot this lady's name as she's not really that important.
She's not worth it.
Watch Sky News report on video games.
Now, Tetris has long been...
You guys can hear this, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can hear it.
Okay, just making sure.
Now, Tetris has long been touted as a video game that just can't be beaten because it just goes on and on.
Oh my God!
Well, 13-year-old American Willis Gibson has technically proven that wrong. He beat the original Nintendo version of the game by reaching such a high level that the coding froze. That left the program unable to generate any more falling blocks. As a mother, I would just say step away from the screen, go outside, get some fresh air. Beating Tetris is not a life goal. Speaking of fresh air, let's get a look at the weather.
So, as a mother, even though his mom came in and congratulated him, Terry, thoughts on Sky News?
Well, they're British, so
What do they know about video games and fun?
no, it's just when you look at culturally, the British are a lot more pessimistic than Americans. So it's just a cultural thing. So she don't get it. She doesn't get it.
She don't get it. Yeah, no,
she's
no,
clearly not a gamer.
certainly
either,
does not.
You know, she's clearly not a gamer, so she definitely doesn't get it. You know, whereas the mother probably is a gamer. That's why she understood. You know, for her son, and she congratulated him. It's just it really comes down to whether or not they're gamers. You know, if like Dreadpool and his wife are both gamers, so a tiny giant achieves something, they're gonna get it. You know. But if they weren't gamers and she achieved something in a video game, they're gonna be like, okay, and you know. So it's one of those things, unfortunately, that if you're not part of the gaming community, it's just gonna be like no one cares. So, but congrats to him. This is impressive because as a gamer, I can't do this, so I get it. Good job, and you know, don't let the non-gamers, you know, steal your thunder. So
Yeah.
tag with them.
So, Dreadpool, your thoughts on Sky News?
As a father of Tiny Giant, okay? I don't care what it is. If she accomplishes any feat that I don't understand, I'm still going to support her, okay? And that's the way it should be. Talking and belittling a kid like that over a tremendous feat that required AI assistance to do makes no sense. You know what I mean? So belittling an accomplishment you don't understand doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make you any bigger of a reporter. I'm sorry. It doesn't. Stuff like that. If she does something and she's done stuff that I don't understand, but you know what? I support her. I go with it. You know, obviously it's stuff that would keep her safe. It wouldn't be anything that, you know, we'd have to worry about. But again, you know, it's monitoring and understanding what's going on. And if it's a feat that she likes and is healthy, I'm a full supporter of it. You know, telling this kid to go outside. How do you know he hasn't been outside? How do you know? You know, he doesn't look like a 40-year-old stuck in his mom's basement having console wars.
Yeah, and he's not overweight. He looks in quite good shape, good health.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so
he looks in good health.
There's literally an exercise ball behind him.
Exactly. And you don't know. You don't know the kid's background. You don't know what's going on. And you're just basically, this is just another form of bullying. You know, because this is something I don't understand, and you know, you should go outside more.
It just goes with that stereotype that all gamers are lazy and they don't do anything. When very successful people like lawyers and doctors and all different careers are gamers too. So like you could be a successful individual, you know, and still play games. So but people with that mentality think that the only people who play games are people who don't have a job.
Oh, exactly, and that's the thing is people just forget that it's no longer the status of what it used to be, the image. It's no longer, you know,
it's no longer exclusive to just that.
right.
Yeah.
You know, pop culture has expanded into include nerdom.
Well,
So any of that
yeah.
stuff is part of it. You know, stuff that we would get picked on is now celebrated. It's part of the
Awesome.
culture. You know, so it's different.
Yeah, I mean, video games make more money too, and are more mainstream now than movies or movies or music combined.
Right.
So, yeah, it is a tremendous feat. Congratulations to him. You know, as far as getting fresh air, he looks like he gets plenty. And I mean, like I said, and Dreadpool mentioned exactly. You know, if my daughter did something, even if I don't understand it, I'm going to support it. The mom came in. He said, "Oh yeah, I just crashed the game," and she goes, "Oh, cool." She doesn't understand it, but she goes, "High five." You know. Like she didn't make a big deal about it, probably because she doesn't understand it. But she was like, "Oh, high five, have a good night," you know. Like the mom, I think, you know, if your kid was doing something late at night, it's streaming. You can watch what he did on the stream. You know, I mean, I'm sure his parents are well aware of what he does and what he spends his free time on. It seems like it anyway, right? But yeah, um, the reporter, I think, just didn't understand the significance of this event, that it took 34 years for this to happen.
And that's fine.
34 years. I am 41. I was less than 10 years old when this game came out, and no one has beat it. So yeah, it's a feat. Don't let anybody take that away from you.
Yeah, and it's fine to report on it, not understanding. It's just the snarkiness at the very end about it. That's really
It
what.
was the whole life goal line. That's the part that got to me.
Go outside, life goal. It's like,
yeah,
he's still young. That's not a life
if
goal.
I was this kid's parent, you know, like the parent was there.
Yeah,
I don't know.
And here's a life goal. If you're 40 years old and you're still doing it to beat it because you know nobody's done it, that would be a life goal because you're still trying to beat it. That's not a life goal. That was an accomplishment by a
This kid
very
was just
talented
playing. I mean, literally.
kid. Yeah.
He's 13. What life goals do you want a 13-year-old to have?
Look at the guy that faked all those Donkey Kong scores.
Oh yeah,
And he
yeah,
built
the King of
president.
Kong.
Yeah, the king.
Guy.
Yeah,
Well,
that
oh
guy.
my god, I met him in real life. I know who you're talking about. And Iron Galaxy. Is it Iron Galaxy who keeps the records of video games?
Something.
I think it's Iron Galaxy, and they removed him.
Yeah, because they were able to. He's been using modified consoles,
Modified cabinets.
The videos are cut and pasted, so you'll see like jumps and scores that should never have been able to be possible.
Yeah.
So and everything is from his studio or his building, his facilities. He hasn't been able to do that anywhere, and he's always had excuses when he was live doing stuff. So
yeah,
you know, hey, you know, if he's able to do it, and you know, then cool, props to him. But he seems to be lying, and he got caught. And this kid here streamed it honestly, and you know, more props to him for being truthful about it.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't have the money to falsify all this stuff.
No way. So yeah, shout out to, again, congratulations to Blue Scuti on the amazing accomplishment that none of us can do. Trust me, cannot do. Okay. And yeah, hopefully here's to you breaking more video game records in your lifetime, I hope.
more records than controllers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kid breaks records, not controllers. Although I'm sure he probably broke a few controllers.
I've got a buddy that's broken countless controllers to the point where his wife said, "You keep on breaking them, you're never going to buy another one."
Yeah.
And she meant console, video game, controller, anything dealing with video games. Yeah. And he just gets so into it. He would just crush it to the point with his bare hands. He stopped throwing them because he was throwing them for a while. Then he broke a window.
Yeah, I knew somebody who would buy her kid everything, and like the kid would throw a controller at the TV, broke the TV, and she would just buy him another TV. And I'm like,
Nope.
what the heck?
Looks like someone doesn't have a TV no more unless you buy one yourself.
You know what? I had to beg for my TV, so I would never dream of breaking my TV like when I was little. It just isn't happening. So yeah.
No, you can play through the crackled pixels and stuff like that.
That's right.
Figure it out.
You can play how I used to try to watch Cinemax at night.
HBO.
That's right. Let's check in with the chat here. Tetris is the most popular video game ever. Come on, lady. Jeez, yeah. Even my mom played Tetris like that kid did, and she's not a gamer. This lady was just jaded. My mom grounded me from my game box for 2 weeks and kept it for a month and a half. When I asked for it back, she said I didn't deserve it. I later caught her at 11 p.m. playing Tetris on level 49. Dang, your mom was cooking, bro.
There you go. See?
Let's see. I love to be in my mom's basement console war and don't have to pay mortgage. Wow. Sky News is the worst news channel in the UK. BBC is just slightly above them. Oh, man, I don't know anything about them. I just wanted to watch the clip. Keep in mind, when I was 10, 11, 12, when this happened somewhere in there. Oh, when his mom was playing, yeah.
You lost her Game Boy?
Yeah. It was what makes this woman's job so hard. Just read a teleprompter. Yeah. Just read it. I didn't know being 13 means you need a life goal. Yeah. Yeah, you need a life goal at 13.
Exactly.
What are you doing with your life? Hey, where's Tiny Giant? What is your life goal right now, Tiny Giant? It better be to just be a kid.
You'd be surprised what she just got offered yesterday.
Wow.
Cindy, what's her name? Cindy something. She's a voice actress.
Ooh.
And Tiny Giant was talking to her about a comic she was writing and told her the story about what the book was going to be about. And she wanted to turn it into a cartoon. And she offered her services and
Use
for
her
free.
likeness?
No, her voice.
Oh.
She offered a voice. She's a voice actress. And or actor, you know.
So hold on. So she's
I'm
going to
in the old
use Tiny
school.
Giant's likeness in her comic, but voice
No.
herself?
Tiny Giant's comic book,
Mhm.
she will do a voice acting spot for Tiny Giant when she makes it into a cartoon.
Oh, that's cool.
And then she offered Wally, forgot his name too. Met him yesterday. He does all these voices. He did the Riddler's voice in Arkham. I don't have my wallet because I'd have the information on me. But we interviewed them with 4GQTV. Actually, 4GQTV, Carlo interviewed them. I was the cameraman. But yeah. So voice actress offered herself for her voice for free for Tiny Giant. So you never know.
That's
There
awesome.
could be yesterday that was a life goal for her to like I got this famous person offering to voice over something that I'm making that I was just telling her about, you know. So and I'm looking at my daughter like proud moment, you know what I mean? So this is, again, you never know it, and she's young enough that her goals can change, and that's the same thing with this kid. He's young enough that the goals change. I know my goals still change continuously, even to this day is changing, you know. So
yeah,
it's
facts, hard facts. I
just
currently
never
got
know.
a new life goal a few years ago, and I'm still happy. Been working hard towards it, and so happy that it might come true. It's going to begin to come true in 2024. So yeah. So yeah, shout out to Crazy Greek Dude. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP. He says, "Yo, what's going on?" Sappho, he's got plenty of time in his life to have goals, and we'll have plenty of them.
Yep,
that's right. Tell that reporter that we don't care for fake news. Sir X-Man says, in the future, that kid's gonna end up making more than that reporter. Probably.
Yep.
That kid will advertently probably end at a gamer's life goal. that gamer inadvertently ended another gamer's life goal. Yeah, yeah, that kid probably
The
ruined someone else's life right there.
The brain activity he used to do that, with being able to plan ahead and problem solve and all that, like he's good.
In fractions of a second. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah, so he could be like an engineer or whatever he wants to be.
He could be the next Mark Cerny.
Yeah.
Make a video game and then blow up from there and develop something bigger.
He reminds me of Ender's Game. They use kids because they can think faster than adults. Yep. So, yeah. Let's see. If you're in your 40s picking on kids, maybe you should get some life goals. I mean, LOL. Wow, we're so old. Kids don't know about HBO through the grains. Yeah. And shout out to the king again. Amazing people in here always. And Jason Max joins us. He says, just remember, Xbox is #1. Absolutely. And guys, just let us know, what is your gaming life goal? Terry, what's your gaming life? Do you have a gaming life goal?
I don't have a gaming life goal. Like, I just play games, have fun with friends. Like, I don't have like a goal to achieve anything in gaming. As long as I am able to still have games that interest me and I can have fun with friends, I'm content. Nice. That's all I care about.
Well, what's your gaming life goal right now, Dread?
To play more games, to have more time to play games.
Have more time, yeah. That's the life goal right there. That's the
life goal that I have.
Yeah. Right now, me and my friends are playing through the assault mode in Gotham Knights, and our goal right now is to make it through all the floors. Once we beat all the floors, we're gonna call it good until they launch more expansions, which I hear they're doing. So right now, my gaming life goal is to beat all the floors on Gotham Knights of the assault mode. We just finished beating level 30, and we're moving on to is it called the Kenny event or something like that? Something like that. There's 15 floors of that, so we're gonna go through it. Yeah.
I guess if I needed to have a life goal, it'd probably be to finish SnowRunner. There's so much content for that game, and it takes so long to get through any of it that, like, I don't know if I'm ever going to see the ending of that game. That's my Tetris right now. Like, it just goes on and on and on.
Tetris. There you go.
SnowRunner. It never ends. They just keep adding more and more, and it's slow going. Like,
my gaming life goal is to continue beating every Tomb Raider ever made.
There you go.
I mean, that's not a terrible one. All right, let's move the show along. So, this comes to us via Twitter on the Idle Sloth. Shout out to the Idle Sloth. He's a great news condensing person. So if you want to know anything and everything that's going on in gaming podcasts and gaming websites and leaks and everything else, Idle Sloth is a good source for you guys. So he says, for your information, according to Nate the Hate, the ratings from Microsoft's internal mock reviews of Hellblade 2 are in the low 90s. And, quote, at least internally, that is what they're anticipating. Not sure if it's fully based on mock reviews. It could just be internal mock reviews. Not sure if it's been external mock reviews, but if it's what they're projecting, it's something in the low 90s that would be their highest Metacritic game since Gears 3. So, Hellblade 2, my most anticipated game this year that I want to play, is getting internal mock reviews in the low 90s. Now, somebody made the comment, I hope they're not using the same team that mock reviewed
Redfall.
Thank you, Dreadpool. Yeah, Redfall. Hopefully they're using a new team with some new blood in there. So, Hellblade, internal mock review low 90s, external mock review is probably mid 80s. Because the media hates Xbox. You just got to deduct the 10 points, the Xbox tax. But Hellblade is shaping up to be quite the game if they're internally mock reviewing it for the low 90s. Now, the internal mock reviews for Redfall were in the low 80s, weren't they? And Redfall Meta or OpenCritic, as I like to go to OpenCritic, or Redfall, I think ended up in like the 60s. Let's see. No, not Red Bull, Redfall. Redfall. There you go. Redfall is 57. So they missed it by 30 points. 20 points. So, do we need to subtract 20 points from the 90s and say that Hellblade is going to be in the 70s?
Yep.
Let's talk about it. Dreadpool, why don't you open up with this one?
All right. Well, we already know how the industry is. Anything Xbox, anything from Microsoft, deduct 20 points. It's just, it is what it is. You know, it's the whole thing of, oh, look, there's a child and an old man crossing the road. You know, what's the first thing you hit? And somebody goes, I don't know, the old man, because the child has time to grow. And it's like, no, you hit the brakes. You know, and you know, but it's that same concept of you're going somewhere else, and it has nothing to do with where you should be. You should be in the moment here, focusing on what really is the concept of the game, the play style, this and that. Be a journalist and actually report on the game. You can put your opinion in there also in a little bit, but focus on what the game is about, how it plays, what it is. Give the proper information, and then you can put out your little spot of your opinion. You know, in your opinion, I'm not a fan of the game. Your opinion, I'm not a fan of the play style. Your opinion, I don't think it looks hyper realistic. I think it looks blocky, you know, which is all a lie, you know, but that's fine. You can say whatever you want, but be truthful about the game. And that's what they're not going to do. I do have a feeling that it will get the Xbox tax. I do also have a feeling that a lot of people are overhyping this to be more than what it actually is. And that will also deduct points away. That's what happens when you expect the game to be something that it isn't. And then you play it and find out it's not what you expected. It's nothing that you wanted it to be. So sometimes when things get, before they even come out, are bigger than they are, they have a hard time staying on that pedestal that you put them on. So I don't want to see that for the game. So I'm keeping an open mind. I've learned my lesson when I did the same thing for Phantom Menace episode 1. I researched the hell out of it. I did everything and knew everything, and then come to find out I didn't know anything, and it was a disappointment. Had I just stayed neutral and been excited as a fan versus a hyper fan, and because I was a hyper fan, I ruined it for myself. And that's what a lot of people do. They'll be a hyper fan and they'll ruin it for themselves. So I think it'll be a good game. It should be low 90s, high 80s, I think it'll fall into. But I do see some of the ones that want to call out and have a name for themselves to get that controversy, to drop it down into the 60s.
Drive that in.
Yeah, drive that narration down, or low
right.
low
with a tweet
70s,
out every 2 hours from GameSpot.
Yeah, but even if they did like a low 70s, just so they can push that number down, but not be in the 60s where they're causing too much controversy, but just enough to get that attention. So that's where I think it'll end up being.
All right. Let's check it with the chat. Let's see. IGN is planning to give Hellblade 2 a 6 out of 10. No lies detected, man. No lies detected.
Yeah.
Redfall was in low 70s for their internal reviews. Yeah. And these reporters don't know how to stay neutral anymore. Absolutely. Facts. Right there. Terry, Hellblade 2 mock reviews. Do you think it's actually going to stay in the low 90s, or do you think the industry, when stateofplay.com reviews it, that they're going to give it lower scores?
I mean, there's definitely going to be biased reviews. That's why I don't pay attention to reviews. But keep in mind, the first game, which was majority of the critics that rated it played the PS4 version. The first one got an 81. So as long as you get higher than an 81, then I feel like whatever they're saying is legitimate, because it means it was better than the first one. If they're rating it lower than the first one, then there's got to be something legitimately wrong with the game for it to be believable. You know what I mean? Because then you'll be able to easily say that it's definitely them being biased and not playing the game, versus it. You know, if it's legitimately broken, then fine, score it low. But if it's clearly a better game from the first one, you've seen that they've with the better technology they're able to use now and stuff. If the story is and good, if the combat is good, the gameplay mechanics are good, the puzzles don't suck. If everything that this game is supposed to be has that, then there's no reason why it should score lower than the first game. So,
But where do you think it's going to end up?
I don't know where it's going to end up. I don't do reviews because reviews are subjective.
Exactly.
So I don't do reviews. I honestly, because majority of the games I love get low reviews, and so I don't care about reviews. So like them scoring it, whatever they're going to score it, isn't going to change my mind on playing it. I already made up my mind that I'm not going to play it because I didn't like the first one, so I have no interest in the second one. Them scoring it high or low isn't going to change my opinion on that. It's just a game that's not for me, so it's not for me. That's all I can say is if it scores lower than the first one, there better be some very good reasons why.
And it better have to do with the game, not like, oh, it's not Kratos, it's not a sad dad simulator.
It has to be legitimately, they can pinpoint, okay, these are the issues the game has had, and to back it up. They can't just be like, oh, I'm giving it a 70 because Xbox. No, that's stupid. You have to have a checklist of things that went wrong. If it was dropping frames real bad, if it had a lot of bugs, if there were a lot of game crashes, if it was fundamentally broken, then I can understand it getting a low score. But it has to have fundamental things wrong with it. You can't just say I'm giving it a low score because I can't play it on the PS5. That's just dumb.
Yeah, it's it better do it like that. So Hellblade, for me, is my most anticipated game this year. They announced it for 2024. I've been waiting for this game. I love the first Hellblade. Headphones are just the only way to play this game. And it tells a great story and it makes you think. It wasn't very long. It was an indie project. You could finish the game in under 5 hours. If you collected everything, it might take you 6 hours. It wasn't a long game, and it was the definition of what you call a walking simulator with some puzzle elements and combat thrown in. So if you're expecting this action adventure linear game, you are in for a surprise. It is not that style of game.
You can even tell from all the footage that they showed, you're still running slowly. You're slow running. You're
moving in one direction.
You're doing like a very slow jog still. They didn't change that. It's the same. So if you didn't like that in the first one, then you're probably not going to like it in this one because they kept it.
So here's the funny part, right? I know you're referring to OpenCritic. I'm looking at Metacritic, right? And I know I don't like giving them their own thing, right? But for the PS4, the score is an 81. The user score is a 79. Okay. So when you look at it like that, and you remember back then when it first came out for PlayStation 4, it was the greatest. It was the greatest thing because it was exclusive. It was so good. But then when Xbox bought them and it came out on the Xbox, the game sucked. Okay. Now I'm looking at the Xbox One. It has a score of 88. Now keep in mind, 71 reviews on PS4, 18 reviews on Xbox One. So how do you go from 80 to 81 with more and less, respectively, reviews? And the PC is 25 reviews at 83, and the Switch is at 18, also at 80. So you know that some of the Xbox ones were inflated. You know that probably some of the PS4 ones got deflated because it was PS4. So and that's why I don't like these score things. As CoolcatTerri said, it's opinionated. It's based on your opinion, which is fine. And that's the whole thing about these, is to say that there's many opinions that are rating it favorably or less favorably. But when you look at these numbers and you know that people manipulate these numbers, that's why I don't like doing scores. I like doing yes or no's, or
Yep.
maybes, stuff
You either
like
want
that.
to play the game or you don't, or you like the game or you didn't.
Right.
Yeah.
Or I'm telling you, you need to play this game, or
Mhm.
I'm telling you, stay away from this game, or it's a good game. You should try it out, stuff like that. Those are more relative to the people that you play with and trust on their game styles.
Mhm.
Uh, certain game types you would not trust a friend to do. Like, I wouldn't trust Axel in driving games because he runs into rocks. CoolcatTerri, I wouldn't trust into those type of strategy games and Souls games that Axel likes. We all have different opinions on games that we like, and that's where we should look into. So when it
Yeah.
comes to this the new game, Hellblade 2, we need to look at those that actually liked Hellblade 1 and then do the comparison. It should be
Mhm.
better. This was a project from so many small group of people in this company that did it as a side project. When they had money, they put money into it, and then they had to go back and do their duties as an assistant studio. And when they built up enough money, they went back into it and made more of the project.
Mhm.
You know,
Now they've got a budget that's, let's say, unlimited to
Mhm.
put into it. They've created a whole new studio. So yeah, it better be better. I mean,
should
they
be
put more money into it, but it doesn't
the
mean it will be.
when you look, like I said, with technology being better, if you look at what the mocap was and like the sound design that they had back for the PS4 version, you know, this should be leagues better than what they had back then.
It needs to be, yes.
Yeah, this game is definitely going to be, and again, this will be, and this might be what Bethesda wasn't ready for. Is you're no longer third party, you are first party. There is an expectation there that is put on you as first party that you need to step up to, right? First party studios as a whole are held to a much higher standard than third party studios. Like, oh, check out this awesome game that an indie developer made. It's pretty dang good for $30, and for the budget they had and all this stuff, it's a really good game. Now it's going to be like, hey, here's the next one from that indie studio that is now a first party unlimited budget studio with all the money in the world from the second richest company in the world. you know let's take a look at it, and it better impress. Some people grow into their new roles and some people will not, and some studios will grow into it and some studios will not. you know um and I think that's a hard lesson that some of these studios have to learn, is that they are no longer indie studios. They are Xbox first party studios, and not only are they going to have the Xbox tax, but they have the first party expectation that all first party studios have. I've long said this: if your first party studios cannot impress, don't expect third party studios to make up that gap. Just as a rule, right? Um, your device is your device. It's your job to support it. Like I'm going to use the Apple example. You got your iPhone, you got your Apple Watch, you got your Apple TV, you got your Apple AirPods, you got your Apple this, Apple that. And everybody can admit that all that Apple branded stuff works best with Apple branded stuff. Yeah, there's third party stuff, but trust me, it's not as good. Do you see what I'm saying? Right.
Yep.
And it's the same thing here. Now Ninja Theory is first party. They've had some time to cook. They've announced that they're done cooking. That food is almost ready. Come to the table. We're ready to eat. And us Hellblade fans, we're gonna eat good. It's the non-Hellblade fans that are going to be most critical, as Dreadpool said. Let's check in with the chat real quick. We got Web Dave jumping in. Shout out to Web Dave. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP. Jason Max says, I do not trust Microsoft internal reviews. Yeah, they've been wrong so far. Yeah, they've been wrong so far. Let's see. The Xbox tax will score it lower. Yeah, I agree with you. They will have the Xbox tax. IGN, too much X button, 6 out of 10. Yeah. Jason Max says, it took him 14 hours because of the puzzles in the final battle. By the time I got to the final battle, it was so good, I couldn't die. I actually just put the controller down and let myself die. I accepted my fate. After like 20 minutes, I was like, this is a long boss fight. You know what I mean? So yeah, I know what you're saying too. But that's the problem with gaming. A review is considered the law of the land. If you let it become that. I see reviews as a general guideline.
Should be
But
a
if I
tool.
love, like, I've long stood at this hill. If a Halo game comes out and it scores 2 out of 10, I'm still going to play that Halo game because I love the Halo franchise. Like, it could score a 2 out of 10 and I'm still going to play it. You know, I'm going to play what I want to play. But like if it's something I'm not familiar with like, let's say Redfall, I'm going to listen to people who have played it, like Dreadpool. First off, I'm going to read the reviews and be like, oh, I don't want to play it. But then I'm going to listen to people that have played it, like Dreadpool, Death Dealer, and others of like that, and decide, you know what? I might pick up Dreadfall and give it a shot because it doesn't sound as bad as the reviewers made it sound from people I trust who like that genre, as Dreadpool said.
Dreadfall sounds good too.
Yeah, Dreadfall
That sounds like
amazing.
yeah. No, but that's the thing. It should be you should be using
Hopefully
this
there's
stuff
no
as
driving in Dreadfall.
no. You should be using this as a tool. And that's the whole thing about Metacritic and OpenCritic. They're using it as an end-all be-all for their wars. It's a tool to use to help make a judgment. That's what reviews are supposed to be for. They're supposed to be a tool to help you make a judgment call on whether or not to buy the game. You know, that's money that you got to spend in your pocket on a game that you may not be able to return. Especially if you're buying digital. Right, as of right now, we can't return digital games when it comes to consoles.
Unless you buy on Steam.
Yes, but again, it's
yeah, but we're talking consoles.
We're talking consoles, you know.
Yeah.
But for a while there, even Steam, you couldn't do it. So you can now. But again, it's a tool to help you understand what you're in for and to see if it's even worth your time. That's all it is. And that's all it should be. And again, this is why I say bring out the facts, bring out the information, and then at the end, put in your opinion as to I'm this type of player and this is what I think. You know, okay, well, this guy is into Madden simulation and he does not like fighting games. That's fine. You don't have to. But now we know as a reviewer of hardcore Madden simulation games that he actually likes Mortal Kombat. Wasn't expecting that, but you know what? Now it gives credence that, hey, if you know, maybe, just maybe if you're into Madden, you might like Mortal Kombat too. You never know. And that's the whole thing that you're supposed to use. Use it as a tool, not as a vice to make you look better.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more, Dread. Yeah. Let's see. Jason Max says people judge Xbox games for what they aren't and not what they are. Hard facts right there.
Yeah.
IGN will compare to God of War instead of Ninja Theory's vision. Yeah, absolutely. Sappho says, look at Starfield. People are still actively review bombing the game. Absolutely. Cyber Gunther says, good morning, gamers. Hey, thank you so much for joining us. Cyber Gunther, you are the real MVP. We appreciate you. Remake Station 5 says, if reviews matter, nobody would be playing Call of Duty on PS5. It's the #1 played game. It's all just fake narratives, in my opinion, because the reality is they're afraid Sony's dying, which I think is true. Oh, wow. Does anybody really go to Rotten Tomatoes anymore? No, I haven't gone to Rotten Tomatoes in a long time.
Used to be fun to go to there, but
you know what? I did go to Rotten Tomatoes recently because I wanted to read some of the reviews of Godzilla -1. So I did go, yeah. Let's see. Sir X-Men said, everybody play Close to the Sun on Game Pass. It's worth it. Close to the Sun is a good game. I agree with Sir X-Men. So there you go. All right. Anybody else got anything to say on the mock reviews and potential reviews coming and whatnot for this title for Hellblade 2?
They should go outside and touch some grass.
They are audience, no audience. Don't listen to that crap. You stay right in your seats.
No, not our
to
audience.
This podcast.
Not our audience. I'm talking about those
reviewers.
naysayers. Yeah.
But you know what, Terry? We had a poll. What did the people think?
All right.
It's going to happen to Hellblade.
Where will Hellblade 2 end up reviewing? 33% said in the 90s. Another 33% said 70s, 80s. And another 33% said that they don't do scores.
That's right. They don't play scores. That's right.
So 33% all around.
Yeah. I accidentally voted 90 because I didn't see that there was a review. I don't play scores. I was like, well, if I don't have a choice, I'm doing 90. So
read the whole question, Dreadpool. Didn't you teach you that
Yeah.
test in school?
Hey, reading's comprehension, right? Comprehension's reading.
Fun story. Let's see. Tyler Man Cunningham says, "Did you see Godzilla -1? Axel, great flick." I didn't, because my in-laws are visiting, and it's in Japanese, and it only has English subtitles, and my in-laws cannot read English subtitles that fast, so we have not, unfortunately. But I want to. It is the one movie I want to go see right now. I want to see it so bad. All right, but with that being said, it is time for Terri's Indie Spotlight.
All right, everybody, welcome back to my Indie Spotlight. I have another little gem for you. Now, this, is going to be another platformer, much like last week, but this one is going to have a little bit of a twist. So let's go ahead and see what you guys think.
It takes the presence of another to lift one up. Yet when apart, loneliness slowly fills the void. Hollow place in the heart, where two things that shouldn't be were forced together.
All right, you guys. So we got Degrees of Separation. This is a 2D puzzle platformer. You can play it solo, or you can do it with couch co-op. Now, this is a game that has, for those of you that care about reviews, when it comes to user reviews, it's got very high user reviews. People are really enjoying playing this game with their spouse. And it's got a real touching story. You're going to have, great music and art and everything like that. You have the characters Ember and Rhyme. So you got, hot and cold. And so there's going to be moments where you guys are going to have to work and overcome obstacles through cooperation and combine the different abilities of each character to continue on, whether you're creating wind or explosions or freezing rivers or whatever you need to do to continue on. It's going to have some challenging puzzles in there, and it's going to be a good time. So I highly suggest you guys check this one out. It's on all platforms. It's $20 everywhere, so you can get it where you want to get it. A game like this, I would recommend do it for the Switch, since the Switch is the most easy one to do, like a couch co-op situation. But Xbox, PlayStation, PC, wherever you prefer to play, it is there for you.
All right, another fantastic indie by Terry. It actually looked really good. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie, it looked good. Yeah. Hopefully, if you're into those couch co-ops, can you play it single player?
You can play it single player, but yeah, because the characters are complete opposites of each other. If you do play it cooperatively with somebody, it creates a whole new dynamic.
I might have to. Do you need it? Do we? So it's couch co-op only, no online co-op.
Couch co-op only.
Dang. All right. Well, there you go. All right. Let's move the show right along onto our main event. So the main topic for today is going to be this. So rumor. Take it all with a grain of salt. And again, this comes from the same person, Nate the Hate. So Idle Slaw says, according to Nate the Hate, a critically acclaimed Xbox first-party title will come to a competitor's platform in 2024. The title I am referring to was made with high critical acclaim. Fans loved it. It was in the Game of the Year conversation the year it was released. When the announcement comes, I think it's going to be met with a lot of excitement because this is a quality game. Timestamp, right? Links right there. And again, yes, Microsoft will be dabbling in bringing a first-party game to a competitor platform in 2024. At least one game, I know of one. Don't know if there will be additionals. So, a lot of people have been speculating that because it's in the Game of the Year conversation, that he's talking about Hi-Fi Rush. But let's stop right there for a minute and get people's thoughts on Xbox exclusives becoming ex-clusives. So, Terry, does this bother you or diminish anything to you? Oh, hold on. You know what? Before we get into that, let me what is it I want to do here? Let me bring up some more stuff. Let's show everything, and then we'll get to the conversation. How's that sound? So, there's an interview from Phil Spencer on Podcast Unlocked, and I want to share that with you guys here. So here it is.
End up on the Switch. I don't really love this idea that for every one of our games there becomes this little rumor on is it going to end up on the Switch or not. And I feel like we should set a better expectation with our fans than that.
So that's Phil talking about setting expectations with their fans, and that not every game needs to be rumored to be coming to the Switch or somewhere else. Shout out to Clobril for that one. Let me see what else I got. No. Oh, that has nothing to do with it. So I think that's it for that. Yeah. So Phil Spencer said, not every game that we release needs to be rumored to be coming to a competitive platform. But here's a rumor saying that one of the most critically acclaimed titles is coming to a competitive platform. Now, Nate the Hate justifies this by saying that maybe it's an older game with a sequel coming out, and they want to expand the audience for the game. If you watch these links on here, he talks about it. So I'm just gonna paraphrase what he says. And they want to get an audience for the game, so the game is no longer driving sales. The game is no longer driving Game Pass subscriptions. So why not put it on a competitor's platform, grow the fan base, and the sequel comes out and it's a Game Pass exclusive. Suddenly, people who want to play it need to get Game Pass, and it leads to Game Pass growth. Growth is one of these things. My counter to that is, or you just wait till it gets released on your favorite platform again, because there are going to be games to play. We've always said we got games to play. We don't need every game. There's no way we could play every game ever made. So I could just wait, right? That's my counter to him, and he never discussed that counter on that. And so that was the logic that he used behind this strategy of Xbox releasing what was once exclusive, or what is currently an Xbox exclusive on a competitor platform. Terry, with all that information and with what Phil Spencer said, take it away. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I've never been a fan of exclusives. So whether it does or doesn't, it doesn't really matter to me personally. I understand why exclusivity exists, but in the end, if they choose to take a game and put it on another platform, I don't care. I mean, you can already play Minecraft Dungeons and all that stuff on all the platforms. You know, we're able to get our hands on MLB The Show because, you know, MLB's like, yo, we don't want it exclusive to PlayStation. So, I mean, things happen. In the end, whatever game it is, I could honestly couldn't care less what game it is. As long as I can still play it where I want to play it, I'm happy. It's the only time that I would feel like this would impact me is if it's, you know, in a situation of like Hellblade where it was on a system and then now it's no longer on that system. That becomes a negative to the consumer. But if it still stays on the system that you play on and it's just going to be made available to more people, I see that as a positive. That's just good for the game developer as a whole because you want as many people as possible to enjoy your game. And a lot of developers have to make the hard choice of going exclusive so that way they can get the funding. But that also means that you are intentionally making your game less accessible to other players out there. Yes, you can always argue, excuse me, this is my voice. You can always argue that if they want to play it bad enough, they can get the system. I mean, yeah, that's true, but not everybody can afford to dip into multiple ecosystems of games. So it really depends on your background. So for me, I mean, I don't care. I honestly don't care. As long as I can still play it where I want to play it, I'm happy. I don't care. If I guess it depends on if it's going to be a game that Xbox is going to be reliant on to continue to grow, then that can become a factor with exclusivity. You know what I mean? But otherwise, it's like I don't care. You know, I want people to enjoy games, and I hate exclusives because it creates the whole console war thing. You know, so like it's just one of those things. I just want everybody to play games they want to play. You know, regardless of where they want to play it.
Yeah, nothing's wrong with your statement. You know, I can poke holes in any argument. So just to play devil's advocate here, right? So Xbox is in console sales last place, third place. Active users, I think they're pretty high up there, you know, because active users are both mobile, PC, console. They're everywhere in active users. But you know, you want to have some brand power. I think the reason why Nintendo commands what they command is because they don't waver in the fact that if you want to play Nintendo, you got to buy a Nintendo. Like if you want to play Mario, you know you got to get a Nintendo Switch or a Nintendo whatever to play Mario. You know, if you want to play Smash Bros, you got to get it on Nintendo. Like there is no other way around it, right? If you want to play Zelda, you got to get a Nintendo. PlayStation has you know, the most recognizable name in the world right now. Everybody wants a PlayStation, right? And they are flexing their brand power. Nothing from PlayStation first party outside of MLB The Show because of MLB moved over. That's it. That's all that moved over.
I mean, they are starting to port them to PC, which it's a start.
Yeah, but I'm talking about consoles. You know, like PC's kind of a.
It's still a platform.
Whether they port it to PC officially or not, it's going to be on PC. I mean, let's be honest, right?
It's still a platform though. So
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a platform. Yeah, I agree, but still, it's not like they're, you know, God of War is on PC, but what's a small PlayStation game that I can think of? Little Big Planet. Little Big Planet is a cute little platformer. It's only on PlayStation, and that's it. It's not on Nintendo. Could it run on Nintendo? Absolutely. There's nothing holding it back from running on that Switch. Nothing's holding it back from running on an Xbox, right? But it's got a small audience. It's a cute little game. Nothing wrong with it. But they don't port it over. You know, Xbox, you know, I understand they have more of a multi-launch approach. You know, the Mojang stuff launches everywhere. You know, now that they acquired Activision Blizzard, a lot of their stuff is going to move over, right? Is it going to stay? Call of Duty is never going to be exclusive, just ever, right? So it's going to be all this stuff, right? That Xbox will always be kind of a half exclusive, half not exclusive, and to me it diminishes the brand. Like, and it kind of, if I put it this way, right? If Xbox stopped doing exclusives, why would I buy an Xbox? Like, just being honest, from a consumer point here, if Xbox started publishing all their games eventually on other platforms, why should I buy an Xbox? Am I going to buy an Xbox where my investment is going to miss half of the potential games launched on the competition? Or am I going to buy the competition's console where I get all their exclusive, plus eventually I'm going to get all the Xbox games anyway, whether it be after 1 year or whether it be at launch or whether it be 2 or 3 years down the road? You know, when you're already struggling, when you're already in third place, I think it's the wrong strategy to grow your brand. I think you need to grow your brand by having some amazing games, some quality games. And Xbox is finally closing that gap in quality, hopefully. You know, they've been some 9 out of 10s. They've been some 5 out of 10s. They got to get rid of that 5 out of 10 spot. You know, stay in the 7s or higher, and eventually stay in the 8s or higher. And, you know, just build your brand with games that are only available on your brand. And I understand contractually there's some other games that will not, but the ones that are, stop making them multiplat. And it bothers me that, you know, this is not for love of console wars. This is for love for, in my mind, it's a bad business move because you're going to send the wrong message to the consumer, me. You know, and I get it, you know, that Xbox interviews all these people that live on the West Coast on the beach who you know, the Tech Valley people. They're not really in here in the trenches with us who live in, you know, where we live. They're not talking to us. They may not even be listening to us. They could care less, you know, but I think they should because we are the consumers. I'm not talking from a business perspective of like, oh, you know, we can grow the audience. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, whatever. Let me tell you, as a consumer, that just means I don't have to buy an Xbox because eventually your good games, your critically acclaimed game of the year conversation game, you know, none of that other trash. I don't care about it. You know, as a consumer, is coming to Xbox or it's coming to Nintendo or it's coming to PlayStation. Why would I buy the Xbox? It diminishes the brand, in my opinion. You know, and Phil Spencer said that, you know, they're going to move games over to wherever Game Pass exists. Game Pass don't exist on those competitors. If there was a Game Pass app or, you know, a Game Pass account on those competitors' platforms, I totally understand. Totally get it. But there's not. They're just moving it over cuz. And I disagree with that. Dreadpool, what do you think?
What? No, I'm kidding. All right. So when it comes to all this, here's what I'm thinking. Apparently my screen's freezing up. So anyway, I don't think it's a big deal. I don't think that it's obviously going to be very select few games that will be put in there. It will it's not going to be Halo. It's not going to be, you know, certain ones. Obviously, like you said, contractually, certain ones will be in there, no problem. Certain ones will have issues with. You know what I mean? So I don't see it as a big deal. Now, speaking of Halo, I can understand if they put campaign exclusive and then because Halo is a free multiplayer, open it up. I can understand that. I would not want that. But you can understand if you do it like that, because Warzone is multiplayer and it's free. Fortnite is also multiplayer and free. Granted, those are, you know, or at least Call of Duty was third party at that time, but those would be considered third party. But it also opens it up, and at the same time, the same logic would be, well, we're using this for PC, so PC could be considered multiplayer also. The openness, so you don't have to go to PlayStation, you don't have to go to Nintendo. So there's many different facets when you look at it. But when you look at it as it's an older game, it's died out its value. So let's bring back the value back in. So if you put it back, let's say back into the market, and Hellblade was one of them, right? It was on PS4. It came back into the market on the Xbox side, and the value went up again. People are talking about it again. People are hyping it, and now here we are with the continuation of it, right? So they got their money back again by bringing it back in. Same thing with Cuphead, right? Cuphead went over to Nintendo. They got their value back because now it's not just here on Xbox, it's over there on Nintendo. And if it's an Xbox if it's an Xbox game going to like Nintendo, am I going to pay $60 for that, or do I want to just pay the $15, $18 now, and just go ahead and join Game Pass and get it
Are
for
you going to
free?
pay the $500 to buy a console that's going to miss half the games, or buy a
Well,
$350 console that's going to get all the games?
but that's the thing, though. You don't know. You don't know if you think about it, though. If you're going $350, right? I already
For
have a
all the
Switch.
games.
I'm looking for more. I can get the console, and then I can get Game Pass, and then be done with it. I don't have to worry about it. It's just another way to bring people back into the community. And besides, when you log into those games, you're logging into Xbox, even though you're on another console. Even though you're on PC, you're logging into Xbox. Just like Call of Duty, we're logging into Activision, right? You have to log into Activision. Pretty soon, it's going to shift over to Xbox. When you log in, you're going to have to log into Xbox, even though you're playing elsewhere. And that's what they still want. They still want you in the ecosystem one way or the other. And all you're doing is the game is worn off its moneymaker, I guess you would say, the time frame that it was going to be bringing in the biggest amount of money. You reintroduce it somewhere else, and you go from there. But again, it's not every single game. You don't do that with Starfield. You don't do that with a Halo campaign. Like I
How
said,
do you know? I mean, this
and that's what I was saying, though.
How do you know? At this
How do
point,
you know? You
every
should know which-
exclusive is on the table. Like the fact that that Nate the Hate narrowed it down to a critically acclaimed was in the Game of the Year conversation. It narrows it down to something like Psychonauts 2 and Hi-Fi Rush. I was going to say Doom Eternal, but Doom Eternal is already everywhere.
But I could see Hi-Fi Rush going to Nintendo.
But but easily those are games that when you kind of think about those games aren't games that people are going to buy an Xbox to play anyway.
No, but it gets you on the mindset that it's an Xbox game that you're playing on Nintendo.
Yeah, so it's like, I don't know. I don't have an issue with it. I really don't. It's like I said earlier, it really depends on the game. I mean, clearly if they made Gear 6, they're going to keep that exclusive, and that makes sense.
Are you sure? How do you know? How do you know at this point?
Okay.
Like, can you sit there, Terry, straight face, and guarantee it to me?
Dude, look at, because the games that they tend to move over are the ones that have more of an indie feel. Like Dreadpool had brought up Cuphead. I remember from the 360, Castle Crashers. That later became everywhere. That started out on one system, if I remember.
Yeah, but that was an Xbox first party.
Doesn't matter if it's first party. That was
Cuphead
wasn't first party.
When it first came out, I think when it first came out, it was only on Xbox, and then eventually it expanded. So I mean, I have nothing wrong with that. Those are games those aren't console selling games. Those are just games that they had their time on one system and they fizzled out, and then they got new life elsewhere, and that's great for the developer.
Terry, look down. Just squat down. Axel, listen here. Ori did not get diminished, did it? No.
Oh, I have a huge issue with this because I think it sends the wrong message. Whether it be valuable or not from a business perspective to them is frankly not the conversation. I could make the business argument all day that one of the big three should go third party for business reasons.
But
Right.
I mean, but your
Well, no,
But that's
argument,
not the argument I'm making.
but your argument from earlier was that you need these exclusive games for your brands. People will buy your system. Majority of the people who buy PlayStation play Call of Duty, which was everywhere. Call
Yeah,
of Duty
because
wasn't.
PlayStation advertised it as
so-
if it was first party.
But everybody knows Call of Duty's freaking everywhere. Okay, it doesn't matter how they advertise it. Everybody knows it's everywhere.
Advertising
Everybody
matters.
knows Fortnite's everywhere.
It's like Nike having their own Nike store, and yet you can go to Canes. You can go to, or not Canes. What the heck's it called? Kohl's. You go to Target.
Canes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you can go to those other places and still buy those shirts. It's not going to diminish the fact that you can go to Foot Locker and also buy the shirt that you know what I mean? It's you could put it, and you're not putting the exact same shirt at all those different places. You're only putting select certain items where
Yeah.
your own store has the exclusive items. So it's a strategic procedure. You don't put
What
everything out
exclusive
there.
items?
Dude, okay.
And this is my point. Which ones? Which ones are you talking about? Like,
Okay.
to me, everything's on the table, right? Like, if
I
it
mean,
starts
there
off
will-
like this, and this has always gone in progressive steps. Like, if they do it this way, eventually they're going to do it this way. Eventually they're going to do it this way, and eventually this title's no longer safe. That title's no longer safe, so forth and so on, right? If it worked with the small indie titles, why wouldn't it work with the big titles? Or, you know, with the, I'm not even going to
Because,
call them
again,
the small AA titles.
think
Why
about
wouldn't
it
it
this
work
way.
with the big AAA titles?
But think about it this way: you don't want to. You want to. You're not trying to sell. They're not trying to sell the Xbox console anymore. They're trying to sell the Xbox brand.
Mm-hmm.
And in order for the brand to work, they have to have the console.
And
But
every
in
time
order
you
for that
book
to
a
stay
game up-
alive, they need the games. And in order for those games to be out there, you have to meticulously figure out where you're going to put certain titles. And certain games that could be second party titles can go out there, right? Ori and the Black Forest. Where'd it go? Oh, it went to Switch and it did very well, right?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
when Ori came back with which one was the first one? Well, anyway, when
Ori
the
in the
second
Blind
one,
Forest, and then Ori in the Will of the Wisp.
there you go. So when the second one came out, it was relatively fresh because everybody in Nintendo had played the first one. And now here we are with the second one, and people can shift over. It's like, oh, this is fresh in my mind. They just came out with the second one, but it's only on Xbox.
For
You know,
now, it was only
but-
on Xbox for like 6 months. And I, you know, I'm a huge Ori fan, so I know this.
Okay,
And the
but-
collector's edition to Ori and the Will of the Wisp was better on the Switch for items than it was on
6
the
months
Xbox.
is good though. I
It-
mean,
it
most
bothered
games
me that it was
fall
better
off
on the
after
Switch.
3. Most games fall off after 3 months, so 6 months is still really good. Like, people, I don't understand what the problem is. I mean, look at like your single player experiences. Everybody goes ham on it for the first month, and then everybody falls off.
I mean, look at Starfield. The moron out there said something about, oh, Starfield fell off on their player count. So did Spider-Man. So does every
Yeah,
single player game falls off after the
all of
first
them do.
initial league.
Okay,
They
so
all do.
Spider-Man fell off, but Sony's not thinking about bringing Spider-Man anywhere.
I mean, it'll
outside of the
eventually go to
PC in a year or
PlayStation.
two.
I mean,
But they do
PC.
have PC.
Mhm.
So again, it
The
depends
PC
on
market is very different than the console market.
exactly.
But it's still them taking that exclusivity idea away. They have console exclusivity now instead of it just being exclusive. You know, they
Yeah.
changed the way the term is now.
And we all
Alright.
play console because of the simplicity. Like console gamers are very we play consoles because it's simple and we know our investment is going to be good for years, right? But again, as a console player, I'm going to invest into this $500 console. Do I want to buy this $500 console where the competition's exclusives are never, ever even going to be discussed or a thought about coming over to? Or am I going to buy this console where it's going to get all its own exclusives, and in a few years, all these exclusives are going to come anyway?
Not
the good
all
ones.
gamers
The critically
think
acclaimed
like
Xbox first
that.
party.
Not all
Game of the
gamers
Year
think
titles.
like that.
Okay.
All right. There are the gamers out there that will buy a console for an exclusive. They are out there. But when you look at a lot of gamers, they pick a console because that's the one they were introduced to as a kid and they stuck with it. Or
Or
like
their
me.
friends are.
or their friends are on it, or like me, I choose Xbox because I gave up on PlayStation because I didn't like the controller design. It cramped my hands real bad. The battery life on it sucked. And when it came to between the durability of the consoles, my Xboxes always outlasted my PlayStations. So I decided, why should I spend money on a freaking on hardware that was crap, in my opinion, compared to somebody who I could actually get value out of it because it worked. And an Xbox controller, I can play longer on an Xbox controller. And I even use my Xbox controllers on my PC. You know, you have the option to use a PlayStation controller on PC. I just cannot play with the PlayStation controller for more than 2 hours before my hands feel like they're gonna fall off. So that's why I buy Xbox. Okay, not everybody has got the freaking, narrow freaking lens. Oh, I have to be here because they have these exclusives that I'm not gonna play because all I play is freaking Call of Duty. No one gives a shit.
Or the shorthand is, I'm giving up on you. But that's the thing, is high critical acclaim for this game, right? Game. It was in the game of the year conversation. Game, not games.
Oh,
game.
You don't know that. Look at the bottom paragraph.
And okay,
at least one game I know of one. Don't know if there will be additional.
Right. Which one did I just mention? Hi-Fi Rush is the only one that's logical that fits in all that. That would fit for a Nintendo gamer style. I think because of the way that it was set up and created, it would fit perfectly with Nintendo, just like Cuphead was, just like Ori. There are certain games that would be perfect for it. Oh, wait a second. That's right. Call of Duty is also going to be going to the Switch. So think about that. So it's not just one thing, it's another thing, but that's not what he's talking about. He's talking about this one game.
Yeah,
there could be other ones. Okay, well, first party, it doesn't say
exclusive now. So okay. let's read this, because here we go. So this comes from The Verge, published in 2019. Microsoft has no plans to release more Xbox exclusives on Nintendo Switch or PS4. xCloud could be the only way to get Forza and Halo on a non-Xbox console, right? Xbox fans were surprised when Cuphead came on the Switch, right? It looks like we won't be. In the past year has been an exciting time for us, and we have more than doubled our internal creative teams making Xbox game studios, says a Microsoft spokesperson in a statement to GameIndustry.biz. As these new studios transition in, we are aware of some exciting commitments to other platforms and will honor them. However, going forward, these new studios will focus on making games for our platforms. We have no plans to further expand our exclusive first-party games to other consoles. We continue to believe deeply in cross-play and progression of games with the right flexibility for developers to ensure fair and fun experience. So here it is, right? So if it was through Game Pass and a Game Pass subscription that you got access to this stuff, I'm okay with it. I don't have a problem with that, right? It's because, again, Game Pass subscriptions is the future of Xbox. But this just says exactly what I was saying is, these first-party studios are supposed to be focusing on first-party Xbox stuff, and instead you have the possibility people hyping up that Hi-Fi Rush might go over to the competitors' platforms. I don't think it's going to be Hi-Fi Rush, as the sequel is probably years out at this point. I think it's something that's more ready for a sequel, like Psychonauts 2. If it was a game, if I had to bet money on a game,
that could be, yeah.
Where because I listened to what he said, and he said it could be because maybe a sequel is coming out and you want to grow the audience, right? And so it just, again, it leads to this mixed messaging. Xbox is already being this whole people are running, not just people, but some in the media are running that Xbox is going to go third party by 2027 because of their own internal memo. They're going to go third party because of this, because of that, whatever. and this just adds fuel to the fire. Like, I don't think they're doing themselves any favors as a brand by releasing their exclusive games elsewhere. And from the consumer standpoint, again, you might call it narrow-minded, Terry, but I see it as investment. Where am I going to get the biggest bang for my buck? Where am I going to get the biggest options for my buck? I have obviously never been I buy this $500 console to play one game only. That's not who I am, and certainly that's not who I know other gamers to be. Those casuals, they're not listening to this. So, yeah, it's just I don't think they're doing
Casuals aren't
themselves any
part of the
favor. They're,
console
it's already
stuff.
hard enough to walk into a game store and find anyone with any excitement for Xbox, any workers with any excitement for Xbox. You go into Best Buy, you go into Target, you go into GameStop, whichever ones are left, and you want to buy a game, even if it's a multiplat, they assume you're getting it for not Xbox. So here's Xbox first
haven't
party
had
games.
that. I haven't
And
had
guess
that
what?
situation.
Even
I
Xbox
haven't
first
had
party games, they're going to start assuming that you're getting it for not Xbox. Or you'll go in there like, hey, man, I want an Xbox because I want to play Hellblade. And they'll be like, I want to play Hellblade too. And they'll say like, why, man? Just get a PlayStation. It's going to come to PlayStation in a few years anyway.
I've never had that experience going to a store.
That's the
Okay.
narrative, though. But it could be the opposite in the next couple of years, that you will get more people that are Xbox gamers going into the workforce and doing the exact opposite.
The only time that's ever happened to me was with phones. I had requested to get the Windows version of a phone, and they assumed I wanted Android. And I told them when I ordered it that I wanted the Windows phone version, and they gave me the Android anyway, and I had to return it.
Yeah.
That's the only time that's ever happened. That's never happened in gaming. If I go to a store and I tell them what I want, they just grab it and they give it to me because all they care about is selling it.
No, I've had it where wearing an Xbox shirt, walking in, asking
With
for
an
Mortal
Xbox
Kombat
hat.
on
Yeah.
on Xbox, ordering it, coming back again once I get the call that it's in, wearing a different Xbox shirt, walking in, and that person is busy helping somebody else. So somebody else is looking at me to help me, and they're like, I don't see it here. Are you sure you ordered it here? And I'm like, yes, I ordered it with that lady over there. And they're like, I don't see nothing. I'm like, and she walks over and she's like, no, he ordered Xbox.
Yeah. That's my whole point. Do you see what I'm saying, right? Xbox needs to work on their branding. And this is just has been my biggest pet peeve with Xbox, is that all the mixed messaging is not helping their brand. The CFO will say one thing, and Phil Spencer has to come out and clarify.
Well, they're speaking at that instance. They're
know-
speaking to two different targets.
They potato, man. People listen
No,
to
I know.
everything nowadays.
I do agree they need to fire up their marketing team, because you don't see too many ads. They've gotten better.
I don't watch TV, so I don't see any ads.
But when you don't have to watch TV to see ads. Ads are freaking everywhere.
That's right.
You don't unless if you live in a major city, like let's say like New York City is probably like the perfect example, or if you live in Vegas right now where they have the stupid orb thing, the only the majority of your ads that you're going to see posted all over the city are PlayStation, right? So Xbox needs to step it up and start with their marketing and market stuff. I should be able to if they're gonna have a big freaking billboard somewhere, put their stuff on it so people can see their brand. They don't really market, so they need to market.
Yeah. Let's check in with the chat. It's been a long time. Yeah, it's been about 30 minutes since we checked in with the chat. Let's check in. Let's see. But this creates the conversation of every other game possibly going to other platforms. What's the point of signing up for Game Pass if those games are going to end up on PlayStation or Switch? Exactly my point, Sappho. Exactly my point. Right? Let's see. Dan the Man Cunningham says, Jess Gordon mentioned Microsoft Flight Simulator as the potential game to go over. Yeah, it could be. I don't remember Flight Simulator being in the Game of the Year conversation, but yeah, very critically acclaimed game. Let's see. He says, I think it largely depends on the game. For example, if Hi-Fi Rush goes to PlayStation, that hurts the brand. If Flight Simulator goes, does it really matter? Good point. Legendary Yobi, shout out to Yobi. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP. He says, Xbox is its own worst enemy. As long as this narrative stays out there, Nintendo and Sony will forever hold that crown of making their exclusives feel important. Thank you. Nintendo is king in that aspect. Yeah, absolutely agree with you, Yobi. I am with you. I am with you, buddy. Let's see. Brack from the Dead says, if it comes to the point every Nintendo, Xbox, and PlayStation game went everywhere, I'd still choose Xbox. Yeah, I would too, if that was true. It's more than exclusives. I prefer the controller and the community more. Agreed. Yep. Yeah, agreed. If everything was everywhere, I'd still be an Xbox gamer. Let's see. Phil say they aren't in the business of out-consoling Sony or Nintendo. They have a different vision. Yeah, the vision is Game Pass. And again, Game Pass is not on those competitors' platforms. This is just a port.
Not yet.
This is just a port.
So,
so I agree with you.
You just gotta put it on TVs, man. If you go and you get your new Samsung or LG or whatever TV and have the Game Pass app on there, that's all they need. Who gives a crap about the other platforms? Everybody's got TVs for the most part.
Graphic God joins us. Shout out to Graphic God. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP. Be sure to hit him up if you want some gamer picks. Gamerpicks.com. Graphic God. Let's see. Yeah, Safo says, so you're in third place. You're making more money than your competitor. What creates the need to do this? Yeah. That's a good point. That's a good point. Legendary Yobi says, Cuphead was a timed exclusive. Yeah. That was a third-party exclusive. I agree. Ori is owned by Xbox, but they ported it over through Moon. So, yeah. Shout out to Carlo. He joins us from 4GQ TV. Everyone's good. How about you and the fam, Yobi? Hey, thank you so much for joining us. Sith Lord says, I'm fine with games going to other platforms. More people can enjoy the game as long as it's on Game Pass. I'm fine with it. Let the other people spend $70 for the game. I mean, I suppose so. But that's my argument. Some people would be okay spending $70 as long as they don't got to spend another $500 on a console.
Then let them.
Then
let them.
And that's fine. But
and a lot of people will choose Game Pass because it's like I can spend, X amount of money for the month and I can play a whole bunch of games versus, spending all that money on a single game, So everybody's gonna have their own value.
Yeah.
It opens the doors, the way I look at it.
I think it damages.
And I'm not saying Halo or Gears or any of that stuff.
Right now.
No, not even for right now. But then again, everything changes, right? You just said yourself, your life goal 6 months ago changed. Did it not? Okay, so
yeah,
you're a hypocrite.
I'm not a hypocrite. How am I a hypocrite? This is gaming, not my life goal. Get out of here.
That's
my life goal to gaming.
You see what I'm getting at? That would be the answer, is you're a hypocrite. But you're not a hypocrite. You had to change. You changed your life goal because certain things came up. You made a choice. You made a new opinion on what you wanted to do. That was your choice, and you went with it, right? This is
evolution.
The same thing. This is the same thing here. 2019 is a different story than 2013. We're in 2023 now. Everybody still likes to base stuff off of 2013. And right now we're basing stuff.
2024. You missed the new year.
Yes, exactly.
Glasses, he didn't see it coming.
Thank you. But you see what I'm getting at is things change. So, and we saw those leaks that came out, and they even said that, yes, those leaks, our ideas and directions have changed since those leaks were put out before, when they made those slides before the leaks came out. So again, when it comes to all this, everybody can look like a hypocrite, right? I just said 2023. I'm a hypocrite because we're in 2024. But that's the whole thing, is things change. You have to change as you go, and if sometimes you have to try something, Ori did well, Cuphead did well where they pushed them out there. And I know they don't own Cuphead, but they allowed it to go out there because they invested money into Cuphead. They allowed it to go over there with their blessing, and they did very well. Ori did the same thing. They put it over there. It did very well. These are just some of these things are just feelers to see how well it would do. It doesn't mean it's going to be the end all be all for everything else in the future. And in the future,
that they won't change.
They always
will change,
That's the
right?
problem. They always
How do you
will
know?
change.
You're trying to
Everything
assure me
changes.
by calling me a hypocrite, telling me things change, but assure me that it's not going to happen. Which one is it, Dreadpool? Mixed messaging, just like Xbox.
Well, it's better than the deceptive practices from PlayStation.
So,
Exclusive Red Dead only on PlayStation. Just the hat.
just the hat. That's right. Let's see. Remake Station says there are people who would buy an Xbox for Hi-Fi Rush. I bought a PS4 mainly for everybody's golf. Small exclusives do matter. Exactly. Yeah. Let's see. But that person buying that game in their platform is a potential sub they lost for Game Pass. Good point. Yeah. Game Pass is the new metric.
That is
Not if
another
they
outlook.
can, not if they can
It is the
get
new
Game
matrix.
Pass elsewhere. They can get it on their phone or their TV or something else. They can still sub to it without having to invest in the console.
Or they can get Game Pass on that console. And be done with it.
Yeah,
Yeah, can they? They can't yet. They
Not
cannot
yet.
yet.
not yet, but we
Let's see.
don't know.
Microsoft still has to sell Xbox. I would wait till they have Call of Duty on Game Pass. It's too early to look like you're giving up an Xbox. And that's it. It's the perception that's going to be going out there to those who pay attention. Right? Let's see. PS5 just got Asdas Falls and is getting Fallout 4 update this year. Why is this rumor getting everyone worked up? Microsoft sharing games is nothing new.
Mhm.
I'm worked up because of the branding and my between you and me. Like this show here is worked up. It's called Good Morning Xbox, right? You got the whatever PlayStation podcasts are called, whatever Nintendo podcasts are called. I haven't seen an equivalent called Good Morning Bethesda. Good Morning from Software. Nobody podcast about a third party. If your brand is important and you want to be one of the big three, you have to have exclusives. And they have to matter, and they have to be valuable to you. Because if they're, if they're not valuable to you, they're not going to be valuable to the consumer. That's just a fact. You will get out of it what you put into it. If you want exclusivity and branding power out of your games, you're going to get it out. But if you start just pumping out, and this was the big problem in 2013, just pumping out the same old, well, the consumers reacted to it the same old. The Xbox One, PS4 generation, Sony pumped out so many new IPs at that point, and Xbox was on the tried and true that the new and exciting, was over on the competition. Now it's backwards, but you got ground to make up. Xbox has ground to make up, but until those, a Clockwork Revolution, Avowed come in and they score well, come in, it's not going to matter to the consumer. I'm just talking on behalf of the consumer here. If it doesn't matter to you, why would it matter to me? If it doesn't matter to you where I play, why would it matter to me? If that makes any sense. Right?
I don't understand what you're saying. Why should I care where you're playing? I only care where I'm playing.
Well, as Xbox, you should care where I'm playing. Because if
I
I'm
feel
not
like most
giving you
people don't
money,
care.
that should be a problem.
I feel like people only care about where they can spend their dollar. They don't care where you're spending your dollar.
Yeah. And I gave you my argument for the reasons why I'm going to spend my dollar on consoles. And you called me narrow-minded, but to me, that's a legitimate argument. It's like, hey, do I invest once or do I invest twice? Right?
And again, that's going to be a choice. Just like some people will buy all the platforms and some people
Yeah, but
buy
who
one.
cares? You just said who cares?
Because
You
it only
see?
matters to the person. If that person wants to buy every platform, great. If they only invest all their money in a single platform, great. Like, they're only focusing on what's within their means and what they want. They don't care what you're doing.
I think overall the end goal is trying different things to bring people back into the ecosystem of the Xbox. Plain and simple. No matter what they try, the end result is to bring them back in. And right now, Game Pass is the biggest moneymaker. So if it's one way to send some feelers out there to get interests and to see how it is, to see if maybe we can convert those to Xbox. I think that's all it is. And change will always happen. They will always try something different to do better, and better doesn't necessarily mean for you or me, for them. Right. So So, and a lot of times, better for them is better for us, but we have to be logical about it when we have these discussions, because sometimes we do get emotional, and it's all about me, and it's not always all about you. It's yes, it should be about you, but you have to look at the bigger picture. If you're just involved into only your greed, then that's the downfall, because I don't think about games for just me. I think about games for Tiny Giant too. So those games will be in the future, will be her future. So if I don't speak up to have certain things acceptable for her to play, then there won't be games for her to play. She'll have to grow into those games. And a lot of times, as gamers and as developers and everything, we all grow up. And so the games, that's why a lot of times, we don't play those older games like we used to, because we want to be more detailed oriented, because we're tired of sprites. We're tired of looking and going, yeah, that looks like a character. It's just a couple of green blobs and a white thing. That's a lizard.
Right.
Okay.
That whole character is only 7 polygons large. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, you want more for the generation next, that because they're going to be the ones that are going to be pushing the next new thing that's coming in, right? So they're going to be the next developers. They're going to be the next set of gamers that will also voice their opinions. So there's a point in time where greed for me is good, but at the same time you have to look in a bigger picture, and you need to demand reasonably demand, better from these companies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Being upset with Nike because of some sort of opinion that they chose to take a stand on, and then you buy the shoes and then burn the shoes, didn't make a point. All you did was give them money to throw away. Stuff like that doesn't make sense. But yet here we are as gamers, we're speaking up differently, and we're not making purchases for those types of games. We're not making purchases for this. We're speaking with our wallets, or at least most of us are. And we do try games. We do try this and that, and that's the beauty of situations like Game Pass, because it was our version of Blockbuster when we were kids. You could rent the game and see if you liked it, and then beg for mom and dad to buy it because it was worth buying. Because I don't want to rent it anymore. I want to buy it. I want to own it because I want to keep it.
Before it leaves the service. Yeah.
Right. I don't want to send it back where somebody else is going to rent it, and I don't know how long I'll rent it before it's literally out of the building, because they're replacing with the new next greatest thing coming in. So it just, I think a lot of it just stems on what's best for Xbox, which should also be best for us also as a community, to bring more people into the community, more people into Xbox, which will keep Xbox growing. There's a reason why they're in third place making more money. It doesn't make sense that they're making more money, but they're in third place. Right.
Well, they're third in console sales, but that doesn't mean they're third in sales.
See, again, deceptive practices. Sony pushes out the number that they've sold so many consoles, when we know that other people, I've brought it up before, Boom and his brother have each bought 4 different PlayStation 4s.
Even if one person per console bought it, they're only making what, $20
And
bucks
they
off
were
the
including
console.
the-
I mean, they can't be making much.
But you're using that number now. You said I've sold 8 when you've only sold 2 games.
Yeah.
Right. You sold 8, but you sold 2 games, each game to each person. But now you're blowing it up that I sold 8 consoles. So that's there. You could make a game and you have a let's say a 20% chance. Well, yeah, you do have a 20% chance because you only have 2 players.
Yeah. Sappho comes in. Sorry, I got to get through these chats before they disappear on my screen. But how does that bring gamers to the ecosystem? When all they need to do is wait for it to come. I made that argument too.
Well, if you want to play day and date, you got to shift over to Game Pass.
Yeah. But more and more gamers are waiting because they don't want to spend the money.
Or they're going to Game Pass.
Yeah.
I haven't bought Starfield.
Games get discounted really, really quickly nowadays. So why buy it for $70-$80 so that you can wait 3 months and get it bargain bin?
Yeah, $20
But
off at least.
And how many gamers do we know that play every game as soon as it comes out?
Yeah, like I don't do
Just
that.
look at it, be only
Like
a handful
there's
in the
like
world.
there'll be like maybe 5 games an entire year that I'll buy, day one. Majority of the games I play a year late.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to RWK88 for joining us. Thank you so much for joining us. You're the real MVP. He says, good morning, y'all. Good morning, RWK88. Let's see. Remake Station says, yeah, I think it's more important that Xbox wins because the Sony model is literally trash. I could agree with you more on that. I think the multi-pronged approach that Xbox is taking is working. I'm just only making the argument for exclusives and messaging and brand power. That's my argument. I don't think they should go back to the old model, as it obviously didn't work and they didn't make money, not as much. Let's see. All this at the end, it doesn't matter to me. If the game is available for Xbox, I'm gonna play it on Xbox, first party or not. It all boils down to your preference as a gamer / consumer. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see. Microsoft is focused on the ecosystem. They can't promise Xbox fans the console is more important. Oh, we already know the console is not that important, man. We're the red-headed stepchild of Microsoft. Even within Xbox, something like Gears Tactics, Flight Simulator, all those games come to PC first and then move over to Xbox. So yeah, and all the games when they're being showed off, like when they showed off Redfall running at 60 frames per second, looking amazing, that was on PC, not on Xbox. So
it didn't look
we
that
all know
amazing.
the console's not really that important to them. They don't act like it. And I think that's why they're in third place in console hardware sales, is because they don't act like the console is important. They're sending all the wrong messages. And this is just another thing on that list of wrong messages that they keep sending. Let's see. Legendary Joby, Flight Simulator going to Nintendo? Like, huh? The only way that's going to work is through the cloud. Hey, you know what? That could be a possibility. If this is through Game Pass and it works through the cloud on the Switch, I am A-okay with that because that is the ecosystem. You must play it through Xbox Game Pass. That grows the ecosystem. It grows the brand. Just porting, I think, does the opposite.
Good luck on porting Flight Simulator.
Well, but I mean, if you play it on the cloud, I've played that Flight Simulator on the cloud. It runs perfect.
Right. And that's kind of what I'm getting at is it brings you into the ecosystem. It keeps you in there.
Yeah, and so I am okay with that. So I'm not completely bullish on no Xbox game should be playable on the competition. I'm bullish on Phil Spencer said that they would make these games available where Game Pass exists. And as Dreadpool said, maybe plans have changed. And if they have changed, okay, what's the new plan? Like, come on, give us something. And this is the reason why I'm a huge Xbox fan, is because the communication to us, the gamers, to those of us who care, the hardcore, is very good in comparison to the communication the competition gets.
See, now here's the funny thing. Bringing up Flight Simulator, that could be the way that they test it to allow you to buy the game, but you don't play it through the cloud. So even though they can't bring Game Pass into it, but that's the only way you can play it is through the cloud, which is basically going through the ecosystem regardless. Mm-hmm. So you can physically own a disc that just gives you the key, but everything else is streamed through the cloud, which basically goes back to the Xbox. So again, it just depends on how they do it and how they present it, all that fun stuff. So that could be one of those feelers right there. Well, let's see if it works like this. It'll work like that. I played on the Xbox One, Forza Motorsport, the new one that just came out. I had to stream
on the cloud. I remember you talking about this. Yes,
I had to stream it on the cloud. It worked excellent. It was perfect.
It's pretty damn good.
Yeah, I mean, turned on game mode on the TV, and I couldn't tell the difference. It was that good. So again, this
until you're driving a car that goes over 250, then it makes a difference.
Yeah, well, yeah. I'm still in the opening stages, but yes, the first set of races were
over half the game is playable well.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. Shout out to Doc Praxis. Thank you so much for joining us. You're the real MVP. He says, Jesus, Dread. I don't know what that's in reference to, but
I
there
think
you
that's
go.
in reference to you're a hypocrite.
Oh, you're a hypocrite. Oh, I see.
You guys realize he's
shout
my
out to
brother. I'm not
Praxis.
gonna.
He was on the podcast on Friday night. So, yeah, looking awesome, my guy. Looking awesome. Let's see. Remake Station 5 says, Axel, it's rumor. I know, but this is a podcast, man. We got to exaggerate everything, make it entertaining for you guys. The MVP of the show, the chat. Getting Terry fired up is just.
And for the
one of
record,
many
there
goals
are
I have on this
podcasts.
podcast.
There are podcasts on third party stuff, man.
Let's see.
There are.
Shout out to Ice Cream Gaming. Thank you so much for joining us. You're the real MVP, and of course, the boss mod of the channel.
Did CoolcatTerri just call out the other podcasts as deceptive practices podcasts?
No, Axel made that comment that no one's making podcasts about third-party stuff, and that's not true. There are legitimate people who only talk about like Bethesda games before Bethesda became bought out. There's people who only talk about like The Sims. Like there are people who are like super into like The Sims 4 and 5 or whatever the new one is. Literally, there are people out there that only care about certain third-party games, and that's all they do.
You'll have to send me some links. I'd like to see some of these. I'd like to see some of these. Let's see. This is more letting devs make money on PlayStation and Switch. Hard disagree on that. Microsoft makes the money and they keep all the profits, and they're going to pay the people what they pay the people. This isn't about the devs making money at all. I don't think that when you work for a big corporation that 3% of your or 5% of your income is reoccurring income because of the game you created. No, they own all of that, and they pay you your yearly salary and a bonus at the end of the year.
Yeah, only the higher ups get bigger bonuses that would stimulate from that game. That if it were to go somewhere else, even then, the lower devs only got their salary or their hourly or whatever their contract was, and maybe a bonus.
Yeah, exactly. This show is going to Nintendo. Good morning, Nintendo. It's funny. Let's see.
That'll be
Microsoft
$70.
is amazing with the exclusive numbers now. It's a game they're playing, creating the market expectation for devs and studios. I don't think so. Microsoft has never talked about sales. They've always talked about user engagement. When you look at Forza, you say, 25 million people are playing. When you look at Starfield, they say, 3 billion hours played. They're always talking about engagement, not sales. The media talks about sales, but Microsoft never puts out official numbers.
A lot of third party do that too, user engagement.
Yes, and see, that's the thing. That's why when I say Excel, the Excel is manipulated. You pull up whatever numbers look best for you, which is why sometimes you hide one formula out of there, or one not formula, but one of the metrics out of the formula, and now it boosts something else up. So now if you're trying to sell console sales, well, yeah, Sony's got the lead in the console sales. When you're trying to boost Game Pass, you're going to show how Game Pass is going. Well, what did they just do? They just took away gold and turned it into another Game Pass format, right? So that now is included into Game Pass. So now you just boosted that number because now it's no longer segregated because they have a form of Game Pass.
Yeah.
So it's just manipulation on how you work Excel.
Let's see. Cyber Gunther goes the Terry route. He says, I don't care where anyone or what anyone plays. Just be happy and move on. There you go.
Yeah, here.
Apple, though, is on that Team Axel. He says, that's the problem. They won't join the ecosystem when they don't have to. They're getting the games anyway if Xbox is going to do this. Yeah, exactly my point.
Xbox is still making money.
I mean, that's all that matters to Microsoft, but I'm just talking about as a consumer. You want to keep making money without going third party, you're going to have to start putting some value into your brand. Let's see. When the developer direct happens, all this Xbox doom and gloom will reset. There you go. I hope so. Shout out to Braden Dwyer. I hope that's how you say your name. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP. He says, Cool Cat is right. Games hit 50% off in a few months. Sometimes it's 20% off in a week or two. Ubisoft games. Oh, Ubisoft suckers. No, I actually wait till they drop below 70. As soon as they hit below 70, if it's a game I want to play, I'll definitely buy it. I'm waiting for Pandora to drop, and I'm going to buy it. Just saying. Physical.
It's already dropped.
Physical Pandora.
It's not 70 yet, but I mean, I think they had it at 30% off already.
Nice. Let's see. Remake Station. No, I still think they want the consoles to succeed. Otherwise, they wouldn't have made the Series S. They say it, and they do it, but then they do stuff to undermine it. And you know, the mixed messaging, as I said, doesn't help. Right? Let's see. Remake Station says, I was playing Starfield over the break at relatives on an Xbox One. I almost forgot I was streaming. Yeah.
See, again, you fall into it.
Yeah. It's so good. It's so good. It really is. Terry is making a new Ubisoft podcast. That's right.
I should.
Just a glimpse into Ubisoft. Let's see. Sir X-Men, you notice Xbox podcasts are getting more viewers now than IGN's Xbox show? Yeah, thank God. That's because IGN has been such a Xbox hate that they can't really do anything about it anymore.
Well, they can't get any honest people.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, okay. So Remake Station was talking about third-party exclusives. I don't care about I'm talking first-party. We're talking first-party because that's what Idle Sloth, Nate the Hate is talking about. He's talking about a first-party game. Let's see. Let me see today. Yeah. Yes, Microsoft will be dabbling in bringing a first-party game to a competitor's platform in 2024. So we'll see which one it is. I personally think it's going to be Psychonauts 2. But didn't that already release everywhere? I think it did, didn't it? I don't think it was exclusive.
I don't remember that getting nominated for Game of the Year. It got nominated for stuff, but not. I don't
No,
think
it was
Game of the
definitely
Year.
up there.
For Game of the Year?
How do you spell Psychonauts? Psychonauts 2.
Yep.
2.
Yeah, it was everywhere.
See, for Xbox, PC, PlayStation 4. So maybe Psychonauts 2 is coming to the Switch. That's the only one it didn't come out for. So I think Psychonauts 2.
It didn't come out for PS5
or PS5. Yeah. So I think it's Psychonauts 2, as it is critically acclaimed. The sequel could be closer than we think, and we all know Terry's gonna love it, as it was one of her Game of the Year picks. She loves Psychonauts. She loves the platforming. She loves the puzzles. She loves everything about it.
They're working on that other game now. They got another game that they're working on.
Double Fine. What is Double Fine working on?
Another game.
Do they have an announced game?
They haven't announced it, but they did make an announcement, or they did talk about another game that they were working on. So it wasn't really an announcement. It just kind of came out.
There you go. Games published 2021. Yeah, they're due. 2021 was their last game, so maybe something is going to get announced. I don't see anything that they're working on, nothing that has been officially announced yet. So yeah. Anyways, either way, all I'm saying is my argument is that because it's not on a Game Pass app, it's not through Game Pass, it makes it very hypocritical of Xbox, if you will, whether it's on purpose or not. And it, in my head, it diminishes the brand, the reason to invest in the console ecosystem, right? The console as the ecosystem of Xbox, right? So that's all. That's my argument. Terry doesn't care. She's just gonna play it on Xbox because she hates the cramp inducer controller.
Yeah.
And I can agree with her. That is the worst controller ever. I got cramps too. So yeah, I agree with you 110%.
And if you want claw hands,
is on Team Terry pinchers, as well.
That's what. If you want claw pinch your hands, you play PlayStation.
Yeah. So let's see. Here we go. We're gonna go in and end the poll. That's our thoughts. How did the chat overall feel, Terry?
Okay, should Xbox port their games to other platforms to grow their audience? 43% said no, it diminishes the brand. 34% said yes, they'll migrate to Xbox, and 21% have not decided.
There you go. All right. Any closing thoughts on this, guys? No, I think we said it all. We've said it all. So there you go. Rumors. And of course, it is a rumor until it happens. And if it happens, we'll discuss it in the future again.
Oh, boy.
Terry's favorite topic. And we'll talk about the potential effects it will have if it once it did come out. So yeah, with that being said, guys, that's going to do it for the show today. Hopefully everybody enjoys their Sunday. And of course, we wouldn't be able to do this show without you guys. The chat. That's why you guys. The chat will always be the MVP to any of the shows here on the Iconic Video Games channel. And we're going to go ahead and get out of here. I'm Maxwell1324.
I'm CoolcatTerri.
And I'm Dreadpool, dropping my next video live.
All right. And we'll catch you guys next week. Bye, everybody.